Get a load of this guy.
Take my shoes and walk a mile, something that you can't do.
What is good, y'all? It is your boy Benji, and we are back with another episode of the Qrewcast. Got my man with me here.
KY, I do it.
What's going on, man? Hey, look, man, it's been a crazy week, and honestly, we got a lot to talk about, man. So we're gonna get straight into it, man, and the entertainment end of things. Of course, we saw Drake, Kendrick Lamar going back and forth. Probably one of the more legendary beefs ever in rap. Even got to the point where UMG stepped in and tried to mediate and try to get Kendrick to take back a lot of what he was saying. I feel like Kendrick would have gone on forever.
He would, and it's reported that he had 10 songs recorded in one session. So he had like loads of ammunition ready.
Oh, yeah. And I think it finally culminated with Drake's, what was it, like?
The Heart Part 6?
Heart Part 6, yeah. I couldn't think of what it was called, which was a jab at Kendrick's Heart Part 5 or whatever. But end of the day, me in particular, have some strong opinions on J. Cole signing out of the beef. Do you think J. Cole's smart for getting out?
Yeah. I mean, I see I see it both ways. Like, me, the spectator, and the consumer, I'm like, why did you respectfully bow out? You're supposed to, use this opportunity to kind of cement your greatness. But realistically, like, if you know the history of rap beefs or you just look at it, they've always been full of personal jabs. And I feel like J. Cole is kind of somebody who like prides his persona on being an enigma. He really doesn't like too much of his personal business being out there. And I feel like, I don't know, that's not really his vibe. And he peeped it kind of early. Like, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to respectfully bow out, because this is not really a discussion of who raps better. It's pretty much who can disrespect each other more.
And I think he knew kind of where it was going to head into, because obviously Drake he called himself the petty king even in one of the songs. So it wasn't going to be anything, like you said, that was really about rapping. It was really about what gets pulled out. And I think the day and age that we're in, that's really what it is. And I think like you said, most rap beefs, you can look back at it with Tupac introducing to Biggie, yo, I smashed your wife. Like, it's more about shock factor. And what's crazy about it, especially now with the social media age, you can say anything. No one's going to check you on it, really. So you can just get in rap beefs and just say whatever you want to say. And it's just going to become who says the craziest things first. Yeah. I still disagree with how J. Cole started it, but I guess maybe he thought this was going to be some playful wordplay, lyricism or anything like that. I still feel like it was a money grab when he released his initial jab.
Yeah. I thought my thing was he just should have left it out there.
Yeah.
Like, if you were respectfully bowed out, cool, because I feel like majority of the parties respectfully bowed out. Like Rick Ross, Future, all of them kind of like respectfully bowed out after the first little jab.
Right.
And they were just kind of like, okay, well, we're really not a part of this battle. So, we'll throw our jabs, but we really don't have a dog in this fight. So he could have just left it up there and just it been what it been. Because I don't even feel like his diss was like disrespectful to the point where he had to take it down. It was really, I felt like it was just a kind of like a good performance of rap. No, for real. Like 7, I don't know. It was hard to me.
Yes, I don't know. It went somewhere crazy. Last pod I talked about who I believe won. Hey, you didn't get your opinion yet. Who do you think won the beef?
I'm leaning towards Kendrick, respectfully. I think I know a lot of people want Drake to be the winner, and I feel like this is kind of like a similar thing with the Pusha T situation. But it's just like, I just think Kendrick did more with this moment. That's like essentially what it comes down to me for. It's just Kendrick did more with the moment. I think he kind of got the back and forth battle. He kind of got the upper hand with a couple of songs. I don't think, not what I think a lot of people expected was Drake wasn't going to come and compete, and he wasn't going to be able to, compete against a true MC. But like, I think a lot of people forget Drake's a great lyricist. He's a great writer. He might not be an MC in the same aspect that Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole are, but he's still a great MC. The pen is, it's never been fake. Like, it's always been sturdy. He's always had the writing ability. He's wrote for pen for others, countless other songs. So I feel like I got to see a great lyrical performance from Drake. You got to kind of see exactly where he was as a writer. You got to see some of his more meticulous rhymes. You got to see a lot more, that petty king behavior. But I think K-Dot takes the cake.
Yeah, that's kind of what my agreement was with it. I think also Kendrick performed his songs a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see the differences in cadence, tone, when a lot of his tracks, and I think he really addressed a lot of things that I'd never really got an adequate enough answer from Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, if he calls you a pedo, and your response to that is, well, I haven't gone to jail yet, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He calls you a culture vulture, and your response to that is, I'm gonna say the N-word instead. Like that.
Yeah.
I think that's just for simplicity points, I gotta give that to Kendrick. But then also, like I said, I think he did perform songs that I really think raised some questions that need to be answered in the community. But yeah, I guess they're on to the next one. Drake dropped an Instagram post saying that he's on to summer bops. So I guess they're done with it. I don't know what happens if they ever see each other.
Yeah, I felt like this is what my thing was, like, with a lot of people. They were acting like this was gonna be like Tupac and Biggie level, or like G Unit and like, bro, respectfully, they don't have any actual problems with each other.
Yeah.
Like, other than hearsay and just allegations. Like, respectfully, I don't think they have an actual problem with each other. Like, it's not like, oh, you did this to me, when I see I'm gonna kill you. No, it's literally just, bro, you said you're a better rapper than me. You said you're a better artist than me. Prove it. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people were so used to like beef being hectic and deadly and violent within the last couple of years. It's like, bro, it's literally just a rap battle. They're just sharing songs back and forth.
And crazy enough, this all stemmed from a Metro Boomin track.
Yeah.
And funny enough, of course, SOULJA Boy decided to jump in.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because Metro apparently dissed SOULJA Boy years ago in a tweet, and now he's on a rant right now, but Metro Boomin. And you know how that gets with SOULJA Boy.
Yeah.
He just feeds into the idea, I believe, that like most hip hop cannot exist without some type of beef or drama, because SOULJA Boy is living proof of that. But while he still has iconic bops,
I think that's
so crazy.
I think that's the thing where like SOULJA Boy just he's in a place where it's like, bro, I did so much for modern day rap. You guys cannot speak on me, like, respectfully, and you can't. Like, SOULJA Boy is literally the reason why we have modern day streaming. Like, he's the reason why we have a lot of modern day rap stuff. He's kind of the blueprint. I ain't even say he is the blueprint.
Seriously, he ushered in a new sound and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a new wave. I mean, with the line dance stuff. I mean, SOULJA Boy carried that for a long time. And even in the music world, we got some of the new guys coming up. JP is one of them. He's been making a name on social media. Yeah. There's a lot of, I think, this new wave of artists that are starting to generate themselves from the social media platforms, going viral and everything like that. But funny enough, he's actually classically trained in music. He's currently in college studying music. Yeah. I forget what the classification is, but he's actually talented. Dude can sing and all that stuff. And it does beg the question that, do you think we need more artists that actually care? He has a musical background. Do we need more artists that actually care about that?
But my thing is, like, when a person says, we'll make that, you make that claim, who is an artist that you would consider that doesn't care? Like, majority of the rappers, or the artists, I wouldn't even say rappers because that's not deduced down to rap, but majority of artists that don't really take any pride in their artistry or don't really care, they're very vocal about them just being in it for money. Okay. Like, I can think of somebody for an example. 21 Savage isn't necessarily focused on being the best rapper of all time. He's focused on being the best 21, he said on multiple occasions, but his plan, and like Lil Baby too, their plans aren't to be in rap forever. It's a business venture for them. And that's what I was gonna liken it to.
It's the same reason, like, I see posts about, let's say, like, I seen a post the other day about Ben Simmons. They were like, and they were talking about how they were likening him to certain players that came in with deficiencies and were able to develop those deficiencies to where they're no longer points of weakness. And they were like, why can't Ben Simmons do that?
He doesn't want to.
And that's what it is. Yeah. I think a lot of these artists are just like, bro, I enjoy some part of the process, whether it's performing, whether it's creating, whether it's recording, whatever it is. I enjoy something here, but I'm not like in a point where I'm in love. It pays the bills.
Like, I mean, that's a lot of artists. They're in a good position right now, and they're just taking advantage of an opportunity. A lot of them are not. I'm gonna say a lot of them, but there's a decent amount of artists who are just strictly here for the money grabs. Which, I mean, it's kind of a thing when you have a multi-million-dollar industry. It's always gonna be.
No, yeah, I mean, that's always gonna be there. You're gonna have people that act and all that type of stuff that are in it.
Yeah, but I do think more. I wouldn't even say, because I think there are a lot of classically trained artists or people who take a lot of pride in their artistry a lot more than people realize.
Right.
And I think a lot of people just don't, for one, listen, or they don't take the time to get into it. And I
That's
also don't
true.
think that a lot of these platforms and journalist publications do a good job of attacking the actual artistry. They don't care about the artistry. And that's one thing I realized with this modern era of music. Like, you look at all the interviews and the promo runs these people do, the last thing they talk about almost is the album and the music they're promoting. It's more so about, oh, what kind of nonsense you got going on in your name, or
Who you dating?
Yeah, like
all that type of stuff.
Music
Drama.
is the last thing
Drama
that they focus
sells.
on. Yeah,
You have a page like Academics that, at the end of the day, he does give a lot of platform to artists, and people even talk about DJ Vlad, calling him the ops and whatnot. But at the end of the day, what has been selling the most in hip hop is drama.
yeah.
And I could speak to hip hop up most. But I mean, I think a lot of in the entertainment world, what ends up being brought to the forefront is drama. You have Baddies Club. Blueface went on a Renaissance run just because of drama. He was able to spawn Krishan Rock out of nowhere, and his baby mama, and get them booked on shows simply because of drama.
And you look at historically, like, the music industry has always thrived off of drama. It's always thrived off of doctored beefs. They've always thrived off of, like, it's always been a thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It does. And even to further dive into that, not only is JP classically trained in music, and he is studying music, history, music, etc., etc., it does beg why another reason he's starting to blow a little bit more is because he came out recently that he's actually bi, or he's had history with men. And that, I think, has, of course, brought about a schism in the hip-hop community because, of course, in a lot of what the community would feel they base themselves in, that is frowned upon. I mean, he had a whole No Jumper interview where I think a good chunk of the interview was the people questioning him 100 times about what that experience was like, which is, one, strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. I get it, like, because if you're somebody who's not exposed to people like that, I don't even want to say people like that.
People
but
are just vocal about it, I guess.
Like, and if you genuinely just trying to know, like, you just genuinely asking questions, cool. But like, if you're just, I feel like that's really not nobody's business, respectfully. But like, whatever. If you're genuinely just curious and you have a few questions, cool, whatever. But like, to make the entirety of an interview about somebody's sexuality, and I feel like it's a little OD. So it's a little bit of a drag. I don't think it's that important. JP makes, like, dance music. Historically, hip hop and, you know, that community is kind of like, we're known for homophobia and kind of like toxic masculinity and all that nonsense. But I don't think it's a fair, like, because, like, respectfully, you've heard a lot of artists say it before, like, there's a lot more people that are in that closet, or, you know, their sexuality is different than you know. Like, as we've seen within a couple of years, like Isaiah Rashad or a couple other people, Lil Nas X, I think that's a terrible example. But, you know, like,
and like you said, I think it's just, okay, at the end of the day, it's your preference. Maybe it's alarming to some of the fans because it then leads people to call back on some of the music. But at the end of the day, I think it's interesting that how, like you said, how kind of homophobic the community is.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's without regard. And I think that's, like you say, a lot of people are just not used to it just because he was so vocal about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is strange. And I can speak to another segment of music because, like I talked about the drama selling. Obviously, the craziest emergence probably, or re-emergence, I think, a resurgence in 2023 would have to be Gunna. And he just dropped another album. Yeah. And do y'all think...
101.
Hey, I got to listen to it yet?
I listened to a decent chunk of it. I haven't finished it yet.
I think I finished about 80%. There's a couple songs I already saved, my favorites that I liked.
I'm not, but like, for me, the way that, this is how I've kind of like heard every Gunna album. Off top, like, they're not crazy to me.
No, yeah.
Like, I think DS2 might have been not DS2, Drip or Drown. I don't know why I said DS2, but Drip or Drown. But the one where he's underwater.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my favorite ones, but and one of them. But like, again, Gunna, like, he makes music that I feel like it ages really well. Like, it has a decent amount of replay value, but you have to like give it time.
Yeah.
Because I think like a lot of people, it's not even just Gunna, but a lot of artists are extremely victimized by the recency bias, and you gotta like you have to listen to it multiple times. You gotta give it time. You have to digest it. I think Gunna, he makes music where it's like it's really vibey.
Nah,
it's
yeah.
really like you can play kind of like any Gunna song in the background and
Swag
vibe
music.
with it. Yeah, like it's
Which I kind of enjoyed the topic of his
Yeah.
music. 'Cause, you know, it's flexing, braggadocious. I'm getting money, getting bad shorties, all that stuff like that. I mean, I rock with it.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously I always have the point of contention with 20 songs, but like you said, I think it's something like after a while, one of those really hit. There's still songs from I think DS Forever and one and I can even talk about one of my favorites had to be Drip Hard. It was short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Great. I think just didn't really miss on that album, but or mixtape, whatever you want to call it. But I think that Gunna's doing his thing. It is funny enough how the industry I think is going to switch back up on him because he came out, did numbers, and then like since then he's continued to trend upwards, and he started to I think kind of elude all these artists that were talking rah-rah about, oh, he's this, he's that. Yeah. But like I would say he's kind of evolving past rap. And I don't want to say necessarily like he's at a higher point than rap, but he's kind of, like you said, starting to really branch out. And I think
because he has to. Like,
Yeah.
if my peers are not going to work with me, I have to go somewhere else.
And-
respectfully.
and it's working.
Like, Atlanta is, if you know how music is in Atlanta, you know, if people in your city are not willing to work with you and you're kind of like blackballed out of Atlanta, you're cooked as an Atlanta artist. You have to venture out. Because like within that, just that small community of Atlanta, there's Future, Young Thug, Turbo, bunch of producers, Metro, Southside. Like it's a plethora of artists, producers, just musical influences in general in that city. So it's like when you get cut off of that, but you're kind of like cut off of all the trendy stuff.
So what happens if Young Thug comes out and is like, bro, I don't know why y'all switched up on Gunna.
I mean, I think I like me. Essentially, I think that's what's gonna happen because like legally. And everything, according to everything that's been like alluded in the court process or by Gunna or parties of YSL, it's been that he didn't really do anything to harm the case in any way, shape, or fashion. Him and Thug are still on good terms. He's still signed to the label, so they're still using it for money. So I don't really know. And like my thing is, okay, so just hypothetically, like everybody is getting on Gunna for saying that. What did he do? He said that wasn't his gun in the car or something like that, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he came out.
Yeah, something like
he
that.
came out because the judge. I think the biggest thing that people were pointing to is when the judge was asking him, "Is YSL a gang, and what does these acronyms mean?" And people compared that to snitching. It's from the consensus that I was able to see. Like I said, now I don't think too many people really dug deep into the case and to really say what Gunna's involvement was in the case and what his involvement was in bringing about information. I also want to bring that to a community, which I think also leads to some of my next couple of topics. But what in the world is going on in the community where, at the end of the day, it is not treason, but you are a contempt of court if the judge asks you a direct question, or if you're asked by lawyers or something like that, a direct question, there's evidence based against you one way or the other, and you can't lie. Sure, you can, I guess, say no answer or something like that. Yeah. But regardless, the case is built up to get information one way or another, with or without you. Sometimes your statements aren't even going to be used. Yeah. So if, like you say the only things we saw about the case is what Gunna said, how are we calling him this and that when at the end of the day, whether he did or didn't have involvement in the case, he wouldn't be released. Yeah. So, I mean, it was pretty obvious when 6ix9ine came in and out. He was like, "Yeah, I snitched." And even in that scenario, I still have a little pushback as to why people called him a snitch. But I do understand that you shouldn't involve yourself in a scenario and then try to run away when the going gets hard. When you jumped into something and used that scenario to profit, use these people to profit, and then got up out of there when the going got tough. I do dislike that, but I don't think Gunna's situation was anywhere near that.
I don't think it was at all either, but people are gonna do what they do. Yeah. I think it's really weird. I think it's just really weird. There's like the fascination with people being snitches or just like the whole persona surrounding it is just like, why do we think there's such a demonized thing? But I get it. Like if you involve yourself in a life, you can't say you made your bed, you got lay in it, but like. What if they're not in that life? And they're like, do you expect people to just do prison time for things that they genuinely didn't do? I understand
People salute that.
You make your bed, you gotta lay in it. But like, bro, if you're genuinely
if you didn't make that
innocent, like, why would you? You know what I'm saying? And I understand the people who will be like, okay, well, you just don't gotta say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You stay silent and you see how that go for you. But like, I don't know if y'all know, but like, if you don't say anything, they still gonna hold you.
They can still hold you in contempt of court.
Yeah.
I asked you a question, you didn't answer the question.
Even if you plead the fifth or whatever, like, they're still gonna like, you're gonna have to answer at some point.
Yeah.
So like, you either just gonna take it to trial and it's gonna get elongated, or you're just gonna
they're gonna hold
have
you.
to speak up,
or somebody will file a movement against you.
Yeah. And also, like, I don't know none of the details of the case, so I feel like and neither do majority of people on internet. So I feel like it's really weird for everybody to just be like, hey, he snitched, I think doing this.
Yeah.
What about the other people who got released, or what about the other people who were involved in the case? Who, you know, what about people who are documented to be on papers supposedly snitching or giving up information? What about those people? So I feel like it's weird to focus on Gunna when we really don't know the specifics of it. I get it, like, it might be a little weird that he's out or whatever, or the situation between him and YSL might be a little fishy, because it is. Like, the majority of the labels in jail, and, you know, he's out pretty much being the breadwinner.
And that begs me to ask the question, since we can, I guess, agree that hip-hop is a part of black culture.
Yeah.
Or it stems from black culture, can we argue that a lot of the specifics surrounding hip-hop, or what the nest that we lay hip-hop in, is destructive to the community?
I would say certain things, like a lot of the things that are pushed to the forefront are. I don't think hip hop in its entirety is, and I don't think hip hop, you know, ideally is, but I think, you know, the bad things always get pushed to the forefront, whether you like it or not. Like, that's what's trendy. That's what people like to see. People like to see chaos. They like to see anarchy. They like to see things that are not good. I don't know why, but it's just, if you got to see good things all the time, you would never be entertained, bro. You would get bored. So people like to see terrible things. People like to see, for some reason, people like to see people shoot at each other. They like to see, you know, things like this. I don't know why, but this is what people like to see. They like to see drama. Like, dude, I don't know. We're in that era and in that age where it's like, we eat up drama more than anything else. We really don't care about the artistry. No. Most of us. I mean, there's some people that actually do take pride in the artistry and they care about it, but most people, like, I don't know. Like, we're victims, like, over consummation, and then,
because I think, like you said, like, a lot of what's coming down to is how easy it is now for you to grow, because you could put out dope music, but you would be on the side of the street handing out mixtapes, and just hopefully enough people will listen to it. Hopefully you grab the right person's attention, and you could have a song that gets played, radio play, etc. Get in front of a label that pushes your music. But nowadays, it just takes a viral moment. Yeah. For you to, at the end of the day, maybe generate income, generate fame, etc. So I think a lot of people will find different ways to go viral, whether it's good or bad, and then they attach that themselves to rap, which subsequently attaches itself to black culture, and so the people that are in the culture and the community eat that up, and then these things start to reaffirm possibly negative stereotypes. Because I think it's all really started when, God, because I could really go down a deep row of things. But I think a lot of this started when it became down to gangster rap. Nothing wrong with it. I think it just showed another form of expression from people that were living a life, or people that could relate to a life. Or at the end of the day, it just gave you good headbangers, right? Why I think that it's a thing is now it's stemmed into where at this point, people literally just get up on songs and just say the darndest things, talk about the things that they've done or haven't done just because it sounds good in a track. And I think it's wild, because now, you know, you even see people's lyrics being used against them in court. But I kind of like liken it to, if you've never been around a person of color, what are some things that you would attribute to the culture? And so we always talk about, do black people have culture, or do American black people have culture? Because on the opposite end of things, people always ask, do white people have culture? But I thought it was interesting because we've allowed so many. we've allowed so many different ways of people to, or different ways for people to kind of seep into what we deem as culture. So if we say hip hop is culture, or we say certain food is culture, certain dances are culture, we've allowed everyone to become a part of those things. Yeah, so now we're, like I said, it started with just gangster rap, people that were, let's say New York, and then you had Cali going back and forth, West Side, East Side, and then you started trickling down to the South. You started trickling to the Midwest, and now you got a point where people are coming out of everywhere rapping. Cool. But then we also had around that same time period with Tupac and Biggie, we also had Vanilla Ice. Then we started to see the spawn of Eminem, and we started to see all these other artists coming from different backgrounds that we championed. Yeah. We threw Eminem straight to the front. I mean, so we started to then allow different cultures and communities into it. And now I don't think rap is just a Black American thing, because you have Latin rap now, you have African rap, you have Korean rap. I mean, now you have UK rap. Yeah. I mean, so you've allowed opportunities for plenty of different demographics to subset and to take in something that was inclusive to the community. But I think that there's something, like I said, if you were an outsider of the community, then the first thing that you would attribute to, let's just say we look up hip hop. And some of the things that you would say, if I see Black people, and I'm not around Black people, but these are the things that I'm seeing are that they hold to a high esteem in some sense or not, then you might form an opinion, negatively or positively, about this group of people. And that's why I go to say, the same person that contributed entertainment, funding for the economy, etc., Gunna, and all these artists coming out of Atlanta that have really made Atlanta a special place when it came to entertainment, that same population will turn their back on them. Oh, because I believe you snitched. Because we're holding this, throwing it way back when Tupac was out, never snitching, all this other stuff like that. I ain't never scared. F the police. You had NWA coming out talking about F the police, all this stuff like that. That people took for when there was a movement. There was a reasoning behind a lot of this stuff. Yeah. People have taken it just to, on a regular Sunday afternoon, F the police.
I mean, I get it, but like, I think for most of these people, it's more so like they're just trying to keep the persona. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to maintain their fan base, because like, essentially in Atlanta, if you're not good in the streets, you're not good in Atlanta.
And that never it is. So can you come out with music that isn't?
You can though.
You can,
but you just have to venture outside of Atlanta. I feel like Atlanta is obviously that's heavily dominated on the trap scene. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna be somebody who makes primarily trap music, and within that kind of sound, that southern influence in your music, you're gonna have to venture out if you're not good within Atlanta.
Okay. In the same breath, does JID get played in Atlanta?
I mean, I wouldn't know, so to speak, but I think he's
I mean, people don't talk about him when they speak, and I would say on general consensus, when the people speak about the Mount Rushmore of Atlanta, JID's not there. Now, JID's relatively fresh in the game. Yeah, people will throw Yachty into that conversation, who's relatively fresh in the game too, before they throw in JID.
I would respectfully say that Yachty's done a lot more for music than JID has. Okay. Like, I don't think JID has any type of
I can agree with that.
To where he would be
but why?
Elevated, because respectfully, what has he done musically? His sound is accredited to like being a Kendrick-esque sound.
Okay.
Like, he's kind of like, I wouldn't say a doppelganger, but he's like a baby Kendrick, so to speak. He doesn't really have no trailblazing sound for real. Okay. And then on top of that, solo he hasn't performed super well. Mm-hmm. His last album was really good, I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe the one before that was pretty good too. But like, he hasn't made a lot of headway. For one, within Atlanta, and just like, I don't think he's made enough headway within music in general.
But that's what leads me to argue then. What do we push to the forefront? Because we can argue that JID's a better rapper. You can argue, like I said, where his sound comes from. Because I will not lie, when Yachty first came out, his sound was completely new. Yeah. When he was coming out, and even I think that's what generated a lot of topic around Lil Yachty, because he came out with a sound that was so different. It came out with a style that was so different. He came out and pioneered this whole color dread thing that people were trying to liken it to. But I do agree. I mean, because he came in, he tapped in with a lot of the elder statesmen, the Migos, Young Thug, Gunna, 21, all these guys that as he grew, they grew. Lil Uzi came up with him, et cetera, et cetera. 21. I think, and this is my take on it. I think that traditional rap, because honestly, what is traditional rap? Because we got gangster rap that came out in the 90s. People put Tupac and Biggie on a high totem pole when it comes to rap. Now, obviously, Biggie I think was a little more diverse with his sound than Tupac was.
I think Tupac was honestly more diverse than Biggie. I think that's the common misconception that Biggie was more diverse. But if you look at the range of topics and you look at the subject matter,
subject matter? Yeah.
Tupac spoke on a lot more, and I think
I'll agree to that.
Essentially, like he low key had either as much or kind of like more flows as Biggie. Like he was kind of Biggie was pure MC. Like Tupac was the artist. He was the dude that had.
I'll give you that performance, things he did for pop culture, etc. Sure, I'll agree to that. But I say at the same time period, we still had slide to the left, slide to the right. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's a new thing. I think it's just been more at the forefront that we've had a lot of the mumble rappers or whatnot. But I do find it interesting that we never bring up guys like that. It's like if you talk about North Carolina rap, a lot of people don't bring up Rhapsody.
I mean, I would,
but you know.
But I mean, a lot of people don't listen to, and that's a lot of people don't listen to varieties of rap. And that's what I was going to say. Rap is not just rap is a genre, but it contains a multitude and a myriad of subgenres. So
that's what I said, like African rap, UK, all that type of stuff. And that's why I think it's interesting because now it's gotten to a point where we've started to, which I think is honestly good for music because now it offers no more sounds for the listener.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting because now we've kind of had so many artists start to branch off, and now you have, like you said, you have different sounds coming from different places. Now you have Michigan artists are blowing up. A lot of the Midwest. I mean JP's from I think Milwaukee. So you have a lot of these Midwest artists starting to blow now. Well, I think it was a good portion of the time. I would say the last couple of years has been the South, and going way back when we've had the West and the North. You still I think have regional art. I think that as a part of rap, but bringing it back full circle. Why I thought that was interesting because I got a couple different things that I think happened that they really just interest me. Like, for example, Amanda Seales went on Shannon Sharpe and talked about how black women are villainized and specifically outcast in entertainment. And that led me to think about the colorism that there is in entertainment. Specifically, you can speak about the music industry. And so I thought that was one thing that was interesting to note. Another thing, of course, there was an instance in which there was a viral video online where I guess a guy was allowing some kids to unbraid his hair, I guess at the end of class or whatever, and that led to a lot of people talking about him and saying there's poor lack of judgment, and the kid should be fired. But then leads to, but we allow our youth to consume, let's say, for example, Sexy Red was booked to go to I think it was a middle school or elementary school. So we allow different things to be consumed by the youth. We have these movies, these video games, and everything that the youth is consuming, but then there's certain things that we villainize. So it's kind of interesting to see where these things play out. I'll touch back in on Amanda Seales, who I don't know if you saw the interview she did with Shannon Sharpe.
I saw bits and pieces of it.
I have some statements to make about her, but I mean, what did you think about the interview?
I mean, from what I saw, it was pretty decent, pretty informative. I think Shannon, I think they were kind of like listening to each other from two completely different houses. But I think they found some type of connection somewhere through there. But like, I think they're both kind of just disconnected and kind of dissociated within each other's worlds. From what it kind of looked like. It looked like Shannon wasn't kind of really getting Amanda Seales and vice versa.
Okay. I kind of agree to that. I also didn't understand the point of the interview. I didn't get what was going on.
Yeah.
It was 3-hour interview. If y'all don't know, which not a lot of people know, Shannon Sharpe, who's blown up recently doing a lot of interviews, interviewed Amanda Seales, who I kind of knew, but I didn't really know. So this was a great opportunity for me to kind of dig into who she is and kind of hear her story. It was an interesting way that she kind of went in the interview because I felt like she just went out there telling stories. And then most times people talk about their pitfalls, their downfalls, and then there's an uprising portion of that story where they can talk about how it led to them to success. But I never heard the latter part of that. And it was just like a bunch of sob stories. And then it led to social media just going at Shannon Sharpe. And as I listened to the full interview, following the interview also, I thought it was funny enough that Amanda Seales went on the smear campaign to talk about how she felt like she wasn't safe there and there was like an agenda out against her and all this other stuff. She definitely made some points. She definitely is an intelligent woman, but she knows what she does. And I kind of see why, which I didn't know that there was a thing, but I can see why she draws a lot of controversy online because it's like that's her agenda, is to kind of make this, the world is against me. Whether or not she's talented or not. Like, she's smart, she's talented, she's got a master's, she's talented, she was in a music group, she's an actor. I don't understand why she has to live life as if there's some, like, I don't know, there's some kind of combativeness. But she did bring up good points, though. Well, yes, I do think that there is a portion of her going up there telling her story and facing rebuttal for telling her story, I think, is one of those small opportunities for you to gaslight a black woman into being like, oh, you're an angry mad black woman. I can understand that. I do agree that there is colorism in music because if you look at all the faces that are at the forefront, light-skinned women, mixed race women, etc. And I think that's interesting too because I think we've talked about it previously is that a lot of the music industry, and I think particularly in a lot of the entertainment world, a lot of that success is generated from sex appeal, especially in the women's end of things. So I think that's interesting that I think it's proof is in the pudding that if you have a majority of these women that are successful are light-skinned women or mixed-race women or racially ambiguous women that are at the forefront of this, I think it's funny. Like, they talk about, like, let's say in the entertainment world, oh, we need a black woman to play a role. They grab Zendaya. Yeah. What? Grab a black woman. Grab a darker-skinned black woman. Not a mixed woman. You know what I mean? Allow a mixed woman to be a mixed woman. You talk about music, people that are at the forefront. I mean, Coi Leray did a whole 360 from when she first came out and what she's doing now. Everything's overly sexual. But bringing it back to Amanda Seales.
Is it, though?
What?
Her second song was Big Purr.
No. When Coi Leray first came out, and she was coming on the back.
Well, you talking about when she was coming out like as a stud? Like when she was dating Trippie Redd and everything?
Yeah, she was dropping music back then. Her takeoff came when TikTok came into things and people were able to see her a little bit more. And then now if you look at her, almost everything she does is overly sexual. There's literally a video of her like on a bus just like opening her legs and all this other stuff. When I could argue that when Coi Leray was first coming out, doing interviews with Vlad and all this type of stuff, she was not on that type of time. She had the colored eyes and all that type of stuff. Not like I said, not gonna say like she's ever been ugly or nothing, but I don't think her appearance has been that as scantily clad, clothes wearing Coi Leray. Look at this. I mean, she doesn't have any clothes on. And if I would go back some years to some of her old stuff, she doesn't look like that. I mean, Lotto originally came onto the game when she was young, and that wasn't her thing. Obviously, she was young, but I mean, let's say,
I don't detest that. You know, sex sells. That's what
there we go.
What the entertainment industry is based in.
I agree with that, but find it interesting that, like you said, if sex sells, then how the mostly the people that are selling are the light skinned women. Like I said, Tyler just won an African Artist Award.
Yeah.
And funny enough, her segment is a branch off Amapiano, which is South African, but I think it was in a sector of Afrobeats. She beat out DeVito, Burna, Ira Star, all people who music is based in Afrobeats.
Yeah.
And Tyla is not black.
But see, this is what I realized. I realized this a minute ago, but it's all like power play and promotional, and they're doing that meticulously. Because like if you look at Tyla's album, because I was gonna say like she did drop a pretty good album, but if you look at her album, it's not classified as Afrobeats. It's a pop album.
Right.
So they did that meticulously. So she would be a pop star. So she's more of an international sensation. I wouldn't say she's more of an international sensation than a Davido or a Wizkid or you know any of these guys. But that puts her in a humongous bag by just listing her as a pop artist, because therefore she's not an Afrobeats artist. She's not just lined to this one branch of music. She can branch out in a plethora of genres. So I think that's more so the reason why Tyla is getting that push. Obviously, like, you know, the sex appeal and everything goes into it, obviously, for sure. But I think like there's a whole agenda behind her. Like the new artist in general, that's what it always is. Like, you're gonna get pushed to the forefront. They pushed her into a genre where she can succeed more and where she can get more plays and kind of receive more acclaim. So I feel like that has a lot to do with it as well.
And I don't knock it, because like I said, I've been a Tyla fan for a while. I've been following Tyla for years. So and I've been saluting her glow up in music. But I just find it interesting how quickly the genres, because she first did come out doing songs on Amapiano beats, doing South African dances, etc. And now she's gonna, like you said, which I think, like I said, obviously whatever you gotta do in order to blow up, cool. But I think it's interesting that, like you said, how she's been categorized. Like I said, like for example, she won Best African Music, and like you said, if she's been in the pop world, then that's funny. It was like inaugural like African Music Award or whatever. So I thought that was interesting in that realm. And I continue to touch down on I never really finished up my Amanda Thiel thing, I don't think. But, I mean, yeah, I just felt like she was just doing a smear campaign to just try and paint herself as a victim. I do think that they were in two separate worlds, but I think that she's kind of trying to push an agenda that what was me, and if you disagree with me, that you are a disrespecting my or discrediting my experience. So that was funny, because I think Shannon Sharpe has every right to kind of question everybody now, because his most viral interviews stemmed off of people coming on the show and lying. So I think he should question everything everybody says.
I think like part of it is also like Monique kind of came and did the same thing, and the reaction was a little bit different, and I feel like she might have kind of internalized some of that. And possibly, you know, taking that a little personal. I don't know for sure. I didn't see the entire interview. I do think both sides kind of like should have done a little bit more listening.
No, yeah.
I think they were like I said, they were in two completely different places. I do think they should have done a lot more work to get to like a common ground. But I also feel like
I think they were. I think though that a lot of it was Shannon trying to understand her point, but she wasn't trying to allow that.
That's what I was like.
And then she went on her platform later saying, "Bro, just let me tell my story. Don't question anything I got to say," which I think is
she wanted more of space to speak, whereas like that's a space to talk.
Right, and like you can't just come up there and start saying, because she did just come up there and start bringing up stories that I think maybe have been important to her development, but they weren't necessarily important to her entire story.
No.
I mean, her coming up there talking about as a kid, children were being racist to her. I don't know how that, but like I said, it wasn't like she said this and it led me to, it was these people were being racist to me, and there wasn't any. What was the effect of this? Did it help you become it? From what I got from it was just her telling a story, just to tell it and let everybody know they were being racist to me, just to kind of, like I said, allow one more opportunity for y'all to say I had a hard life. She then goes up and talks about, which I thought was crazy. I ain't like, it did sound like a messed up experience. Talk about her experiences in high school, how she felt like the teachers were being racist to her. Her teachers were incorrect about information, and she questioned them. She felt like that her questioning them was simply them being racist to her, which I think Shannon made a good point, is that most people won't, as an adult, I'm not going to allow you to criticize me in front of a bunch of kids, and then now everybody starts criticizing me.
Yeah.
Now, however the teacher handled it or not, that's up to the teacher.
I feel like that's also a problem in and of itself. Like, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't be critiqued on anything you do. And I feel like that's another one of those things where we in the black community, we don't be talking about enough, but a lot of elders and people in the community think that just because somebody's younger than you, they can't tell you anything, or
there you go.
You invalidate their experience. And I feel like she, like, again, I understand. I don't think like Shannon was coming from coming for anything meticulously or being mischievous, but I think that the way that she received a lot of it was like that because, like, I'm telling you my experience and you're questioning it, and then I'm giving you backing about how this has happened to me historically through my life, and you're still like trying to make outs for the people that did this.
But there you go. Is just like how you spoke about how in the black community, if I'm an adult, you were a kid, you question me in front of a bunch of people, is going to be something that's frowned upon. How does it automatically make you racist if I'm a white teacher and you question me in front of a bunch of kids? And I feel some type of way about you questioning me in front of a bunch of kids.
Wait, say it again.
How is it in the black community something that we understand as a thing, as a kid, you questioning me as an adult in front of a bunch of your peers, which could possibly lead them to stir up against me, me feeling this type of way as an adult, how is that understood? But then on the flip side, if I'm in the same exact shoes as an adult, but I'm white, you question me as a youngster in front of your peers, now I'm racist.
I mean, I don't know the specifics of the story, but I was under the impression that there was some racial undertones or whatever happened within the situation.
Like I said, I'm not gonna knock. It could have been.
That's what I'm thinking, because I don't think like she's just outwardly saying, "Oh, me and this teacher had a disagreement, so it had to be because it was racism."
That's how she did it. That's how she explained her stories.
I didn't get that tone from her.
When Shannon did offer her some drawback, she was then able to use, because she has a degree in African American history or African American race studies or whatever the case may be, she was able to kind of liken and draw conclusions and comparisons, analogies to how she felt, how she has come to that conclusion. But just saying 1 + 1 is 2 without offering us how did you get to 2 is kind of wild. I still, again, think that was another story that didn't necessarily give us anything, but it just painted that she's been through some stuff. And then she went on to talking about when she was in college that she got kicked out of school just because they're racist. She then went on to migrating that story to, I was even with a bunch of women. We had some bops. We made some music together, and we started to fizzle out because everyone hated me. Now we talk about people being racist towards you. Now this is a bunch of women of color, and they just don't like me because I'm me. I'm smarter than them. I'm better than them. Whatever the case may be. Then it goes on to in the entertainment industry how she's been kicked out of parties and this and this and this, and been out of and meetings and sets because she felt like she was being mistreated as a black woman. When then later bringing up your conflicts with black women, such as Issa Rae, who brought you on her show. So it kind of transcended to like a place, where are we at with all this? Where's the connections between this? Which I think at the end of the day, she's able to bring up her experiences. And I think it's important that Shannon does ask, okay, how did we get there? What about, have you ever thought about this at this back end of things or not? Because sometimes you might just have an epiphany moment and say, oh, maybe I didn't think about it like that. But I think she kind of has this where I see it my way, and that's the only way it's going to happen. Because like I said, she's smart enough to understand these things, but some people may be too smart for their own good. But she says, I've seen it this way, and that's the only way it happened. And I have maybe my trauma that led from this experience or stemmed from this experience, and I can see it my way. But I did think she brought up a bunch of good points that I guess nobody combated because I don't think Issa Rae spoke on her. None of those people that she named in entertainment. She didn't speak. I mean, she spoke about Issa Rae's manager and all these other things. But there was a funny clip though that went online when she was like talking to Shannon. And Shannon was like talking about her mom was white, and she's like, "No, I didn't say my mom was white." But it's funny. The full clip is she's like talking about like her time in school and laughing and joking, and then she's like, "Yeah, I spent some time in between going." I think it was like just traveling with her aunt and uncle. What she said, I think she said her uncle was white. And so then I think that's what led Shannon Sharpe. Well, she said it quickly. She was like, "Yeah, my uncle's white. Yeah, he's white." Whatever. She kept going. She was like, "So your mom was white?" Because simple math on that is, if that's your uncle, is that not your mom, brother, or your dad's brother?
Or we're black. It could just be non-related.
Okay, but that was in the beginning of the argument. At least, the beginning of the discussion, that might have led you to saying, "Wait." Why after that? He said, "So wait, your mom was white?" "No, my mom's not white. She's from Canada." "Okay, so your dad's white?" "No, she's not. No, my uncle." "Okay, but is there any relation?" Then she cleared it up, saying, "No, it's not a relation, whatever." And then that's when he said, "Okay," and they kind of went on. But it was funny that clip is the one that surfaced, and people were using that to villainize Shannon Sharpe.
I think they were more so villainizing like failure to report or research. Like they felt like that is like some of the basis of information you should have on whoever you're interviewing. You should know
but should you?
Background. I feel like you should, if you're gonna.
Should he be paying attention to who her aunt and uncle is?
I don't think aunt and uncle, but like if you're gonna speak around somebody's background and the way they grew up, you should probably know a little bit of background information and where they came from.
So that's what I'm saying. I think the clips that went viral, Shannon had a lot of information.
I'm not saying it wasn't out of context. I'm just saying that's probably what the perception was because it was a clip.
Right.
That's what the
I
response
agree,
was.
That the general clip, but that's why I say it got clipped up because a minute before that she did say, and I even heard it in the interview. I'm like, "You did say your mom was white," but then I listened. She said uncle. She said it really fast, and I could say, okay, I could draw the connection that maybe that's where Shannon thought about that. But they cleared it up in a quick second.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it did offer her an opportunity to clear up the discrepancies because she claims herself to be Afro-Caribbean, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least her mom is Afro-Caribbean. She's from the Caribbean, but she's Grenada, small town that has plenty of African settlement. She even spoke about why she believes that she's a lighter skin tone and whatever. But I think it's just she was really good at controlling a narrative and controlling how she wanted information to be directed. So it does paint Shannon Sharpe in a certain angle. And Shannon Sharpe has come on times saying that I come on there with a little bit of information, but I prefer to kind of allow my guests to
and I think that's fine.
Speak on themselves instead of me leading them into yes or no questions.
I just think, I don't know. I think it was just from what I'm receiving now, I just think it was a weird interview. I don't think.
As a whole, I think it was strange. I think it was an opportunity for her to go up there and clear her name, but it wasn't. She used it as an opportunity just to paint herself as a victim, which is what it is. But speaking of, I guess, because funny enough, I think Amanda Seales kind of came to light because she reportedly had a relationship with an NFL player and she accused him of SA, and then if that information was to be not found. Regardless, she talks about now how she really looks to find a good black man. I do think she's at a strange position in life because I think she's just at a position where she's gonna make it not necessarily hard, but I do think that this leads into my next point to say she's so successful, she's so educated. I don't think that she will look for a man that is in any breath or any realm below her, whether it's monetarily, without education, as much education as her, etc. And I think that that's something that's important because another thing that went trending this week was black couples, or the lack of black couples in sports when the NFL went about their draft, and we saw a lot of faces that weren't black.
Yeah. I think, to me, I think it's like a very elementary point majority of these players are coming from PWIs. Do you
Yeah.
expect them to have black girlfriends at a school where there's not that many black people? I think like that's one thing, and then also just like the culture of the NFL. I mean, we know like that's a white man's league, respectfully, and I can't speak to it because like that I don't understand it. Whatever, I think everybody's beautiful. Whatever,
Right,
cool.
right.
Like you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. I don't really discriminate, but like I don't have any answer as to why there's fewer black couples coming to, other than the fact that most of these guys are coming from PWIs.
Right.
So like, respectfully, like I'm sure y'all saw He Got Game. Like you knew how the recruitment process went. When they go to these PWIs, they just throwing that thing on them. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's more so they're more so just like pieces, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in general, most of the people, the draft dudes, they just come in with a piece. Like it's essentially just a trophy. But again, like they come from PWI, so I think like I attribute a lot of it to them just being around a lot of white people. Like you see a lot of these dudes, they hang around a lot of frat boys. They hang, you know what I'm saying? Like
because you're regarded as a celebrity when you get into this status. I mean, when you're in a lot of these schools, and I think instead of us making the argument about whether or not there are enough black spouses or partners in sports, we should bring, like you said, drill it down to the root of the problem. Forget like. I get it. We want opportunities when it comes to
representation.
We're talking about generational wealth. These, you know, seeing these faces, like you said, at these levels. But I think that we had to also take a look at. Started from ground one.
Go to the root, bro.
The people are coming out of PWIs. These athletes early on are getting opportunities and offers, scholarships to play at HBCUs. They turn them down. I mean, why am I gonna go? With all due respect, whether you're playing on a Division I level or not, the schools that are pushed to the forefront, they're gonna give you the most media. We're gonna give you the most opportunity. Gonna give you the best facilities. We're gonna be we're gonna be at places that have such a rich history in this sport that we're gonna have fans that are gonna come around you and laud you as a celebrity. Why do I choose the HBCU? Because it seems as if it's inferior. And I think we should take more time to address that problem than worry about who these guys are dating or not.
Yeah.
While they're in their early 20s, they're probably going to be gone with that woman anyways in a year or two.
It's more important to like, bro, I think to get into the root problem is really just surrounding people with their people.
Yeah.
Like you have to expose people to their people as well. Like you can't just expect people, and I'm not saying that these people are not going to be around black people or whatever, but I'm just saying like, you know the difference between going to a PWI or HBCU.
Right,
you know the
right.
difference between having a black teacher and a white teacher. Like, you know it's a difference. You get a sense of mentorship and a sense of family wherever you're at. So like, I think we've got to do a better job within the community in kind of retaining our talent and building up our talent better, and kind of like we've essentially like I think a lot of the way a lot of people look at it too is like they don't want to be the martyr, bro.
No, yeah.
Like they don't want to be because I mean it almost like never turns out well.
No,
respectfully. Like John Morant went to HBCU, right? Murray State's HBCU.
No, it's PWI.
Okay, yikes. Well, like I don't know, like a lot of these, because Mature Maker, he went to Howard, right?
And I think that was what
like he was supposed to be one of the martyrs.
Being one of the martyrs. He was a 5-star player, top ranked in his class, and that was when they were during the time where it was trending, where athletes were saying, you know what, we're gonna give these HBCUs an opportunity. He went there and it completely derailed his career. And
I don't know like what the percentages of everything he was averaging or what his stats were looking like, but I just think like we don't have. And this is known. We don't have the facilities that we need to have to necessarily doctor that type of talent. We do, but we don't have enough. Like we need more to compete with everybody else at the level that they're at. We've got to do more.
Because truthfully, if you're 18 and you're looking at Kentucky's campus, you go into the Rupp Arena and you see whatever the capacity is, 60,000 fans screaming your name, jumping up and down every time you score a basket. We got brand new fresh facilities, your name on the back of the jersey. We got a Nike deal, etc. You get to see Drake. You get to see Young Thug at the games. How do I compete and I'm just saying Howard just because Howard, but Howard's one of the most famous HBCUs. Yeah. Now, if you bring out any other HBCUs, how do I compete? How can I compete with these guys? Mm-hmm. Unless you have a strong desire to come here. Yeah. And then you could talk about, even at the next step, outside of the athletics, we could talk about, let's talk about the Ivy Leagues. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about a lot of these PWIs. Then you could talk about their graduation to success rate. Yeah. And now you brought in something that I think is completely going to destroy the game, which is now allowing these athletes opportunity to earn money off of their likeness. Yeah. I completely think that's destroying the game because I even saw a tweet like earlier today about how shocking it was to some of the scouts about how many players it was that likely dislike the game or just don't have a true passion for the game. Mm-hmm. Because what happens nowadays?
You getting paid already out of the game.
You getting paid early. And how you getting paid? It doesn't have necessarily anything to do with how much you're scoring, how much you're assisting. Sure. It really just comes down to your virality. Yeah. Because you could make more off of your name if you have more virality, if you have a larger name. And you don't necessarily have to be the best player to have a large name. We saw plenty of these athletes blowing up without necessarily being the best player on the court. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these, you don't have to be the best one out there. No. If you are the most viral, you have an opportunity to monetize off of your name because you have such a large following. I can even speak to back in the day when I think stuff started changing around. That I think it was a class of 2020 that had like Sharif Cooper, Jalen Green, Noah Farrakhan. Noah Farrakhan was one of them athletes that kind of hopped around schools and never really was like a stud. Was never really a stud statistically. He put up some good numbers, but he wasn't necessarily a stud statistically, but he went viral. He would have a viral play in a lot of games. He bring out Lil Uzi. You know, he had a lot of these connections that helped him. And I think that would have helped him when it came to generating money off his name. Look at the whole Jelly Fam movement. Now these guys got screwed because they weren't able to make money off the Jelly Fam, but they all went viral regardless of how their play was, but because they went viral off of doing a jelly layup. Yeah, so they would have been able to monetize their name at a greater level than somebody who's in Iowa averaging 40 points a game. You know what I'm saying? And I think so, like, now the focus isn't on you putting up numbers, diving on the floor, playing hard, you getting in hours and reps in at night when nobody's watching, you running up hills and anything like that. That's not the stuff that's going to go viral. The stuff that's going to help you generate your name is, ooh, I just had a nice crossover. Yeah. Even if I had a crossover and I airballed the shot, just clip it. Put the crossover on my social media. That was super nice. I came and dunked on somebody. I had 2 points that game, but I had a dunk. So it takes a lot of the true love and understanding of the game out of the way because now these guys just really care about viral moments because there's cameras at every game. And I've seen that from my own end, being behind the camera, seeing a lot of the growth of the next generation of players because I've seen offense has changed around from being a pass cut offense to now you have
everybody's playing ISO.
ISO. And now these guys don't know how to do a backdoor cut.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think it is. The game is strange. Even when we were watching some of these street ball videos where these guys are now blowing up and being able to make money off of their name on the internet. They don't know how to play basketball. They just know how to isolate. Yeah. And truly, they're not even really good isolation players. They just know highlight moves. Mm-hmm. But that's the stuff that's getting pushed to the forefront right now, which I think is just it's interesting. I think, but like I said, if I would tie it back into the couples and sports thing, I agree. I think it's just we're not at a point where we're really examining the root of these problems. Like even outside of entertainment, I saw an interesting stat about how I think over 50% of blacks, which and this is just for the year 2022, are unmarried, single, whatever the age is. And the median age went up from people being married at the women I think was almost 21. It was like 20, and men was like almost 23, and went up from that in 2005 to now it's I think 28 and 30 respectively. And now you went from I think it was 20 something high 20%, almost 30% of unmarried black folks in the 70s, which is crazy because it's right after the Martin Luther King movement. Mm-hmm. So stuff was not in place for you to be married as a black household.
But you had to have unity in community.
Right.
They probably
and that was important. But now you have almost 60% of black people not being in any type of marriages. So I think we really need to point to the issues in the community that are obviously stemming. Like I think I'm trying to pull it back up. But yeah, that's some things I found was like super interesting. And like there was a video that went viral of the guy that was talking about, I have some of my friends that are players at Power 5 schools. They talk about how basically how they're saying that's age old. These women are easy to deal with.
That's et cetera, I didn't want to say it, but like that's what the popular consensus is. Right, I don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like I know why.
Right.
Like, but I really just be attributing it to like people just dating whoever they want to date.
I agree.
Like I don't think I don't be thinking that deep into it.
Right,
I just be thinking people be wanting to date whoever they want to date. Like understand there's repercussions for it, but there's repercussions. Like I don't be knowing. Like because like at a certain point, it feels like it's almost like you basically telling somebody they can't be with who they want to be with, just because they don't look like you. And it's like, guys, isn't this kind of like the thing that we fought for?
Right.
Like, so I don't know. I feel like I understand it. Like I understand it from a community aspect. I get it. But, if we're going to understand and look at it from a community aspect, we've got to look at it from a community aspect and truly do the work in the community.
And I can agree that there's probably differences in obviously how white women interact with one another, vice versa with white men, and how black and women and men interact with one another. But I think you have to also take into account there's differences in culture, there's differences in experiences, there's differences and etc. And I think you can liken that to any race.
That's what I was about to say. Like people are not a monolith, so like you can get whatever from any person.
Yeah. So
I feel like that's not a fair point to make, or it's not a fair assessment to have, because
I can say that though. The one thing I do think that I think regionally there's differences in people, but that is because regionally you have different experiences. Like somebody like New York is a bigger city, a busier place, a bigger state, and particularly in the cities, you have a different experience than somebody who's living in, let's say, the Midwest.
Yeah.
So of course, I think that those women are going to be a little different when it comes to how they're courted versus women in the Midwest or women on the West Coast or vice versa. So I think that is the difference, but I think that people like likening everything to just funneling it down to, well, black women are just difficult to be with, and that's why they're not with anybody.
Yeah,
I think
that's not true.
It's crazy because
and
people are getting with them.
Yeah, and it's not, and you can't say on the other end like, oh, they just put white women because white women are easier to deal with. That's not true.
Also not true.
People are people are not a monolith. Like, one thing is not true for the entirety of a race or entirety of people.
And I think the worst thing we could do is just really try and draw real life comparisons out of celebrities.
Yeah, because for one, I really hate when people do this and try to make like celebrities the fake spokespersons for relationships, or try to make them the example. Like, bro, they do not live by your means, not even just like financially, but like they don't exist in the same world you exist in.
No.
So it's like you cannot compare anything to anything that a celebrity does.
Digging back to that conversation that we had a while back, a few pods ago about tricking, I thought about it. There's absolutely no way that somebody like Drake can have a relationship without essentially putting that out there first. There's no way. Drake cannot walk out, go to a club, a bar, even a church, anywhere that that social gathering of people where he could just like, I think, genuinely pick up people, because one, I think his face is too big, too recognizable for anybody to see him outside of him being Drake, for one. But I don't think that he has an opportunity, time, or anything like that to exist in these spaces and take his time and really find a genuine woman. Plus, I don't think his life is catered around that. No. Because most people, if you're living a quote-unquote normal life, you won't be able to adapt to the life that this person is living.
And I saw that, like, I don't know if you saw, but Flau'jae was getting like a bunch of backlash for saying she doesn't want to date a non-athletic regular person or something like that. And like, I think she could have worded it a lot better, because that was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. But like, honestly, just even having a term for it was crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Like you should just been like, I would preferably date an athlete or somebody who's on a similar schedule as me. I get it when she like explained it, but I was like, that was insane.
Yeah, the way she came out with it, like there wasn't any clarity in that. I don't know. She was
like,
crazy.
It seemed like she was being mad classes and whatever. Yeah. It's like you can't do that, gang.
No, yeah. But I will say that does point to, I think, the differences in generations now, because I think now it's out on the forefront. Because you can speak to a lot of different things. Like we talk about how, let's say, how women have evolved because we're in a time in which we have so many modern conveniences. But I think the same thing can be said about men. Because I was watching the Planet of the Apes and made me think about that. So I was like, if stuff were to go wrong and we were to have to rely on the land, a lot of people would be finished. Yeah. Not just women, not just men, but as a collective, we'd be finished because a lot of people don't know what to do without technology.
No, yeah.
So I think that has also subsequently affected dating because a lot of people are like we talked about it before. I think a lot of people don't have the same social skills they probably had a while back. People probably don't have the same level of empathy. People don't have the same level of patience. A lot of people don't even have that for themselves. Yeah. 'Cause a lot of people can go online and say, "Oh, this kid is so and so age and they're doing this. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing that, so I'm a failure in life." And I think the same thing can be said when you talk about relationships too. And I think there's this thing too where when you get in a relationship, you're going to take forever to put your best foot forwards. And I think that's something also that's killing a lot of relationships too nowadays. Because you talk about I talked about how the differences are now in people being married, but I think that's also something that I think contributes to the divorce rates of people, because people get with people and then like 2-3 years they're out of a relationship. They're divorcing or whatever, and it's like, how did you not know these things about this person? But I think it's because a lot of people
are marrying because of the idea of marriage. Yeah, and just the idea of people, and they're not actually getting to know people. Yeah, I think me personally, I think it's crazy. Like my personal idea on marriage is like, bro, once you in there, you in there. I feel like breaking up like a few years, other than like incidents of infidelity and things like that. Right. I feel like breaking up into a marriage years in is crazy, because like you're supposed to be married for life. Yeah. So imagine like when you have a relationship with somebody for life, like think about it. There's at no point in the relationship where you're always going to be happy and you're always going to have a peachy time. Like that's literally insane to expect perfection or expect pure bliss and happiness from one person, or honestly even expect happiness from a person. Anyway,
yeah, a lot of people aren't internally happy.
Yeah, like I feel like that. I don't know. Like that's, for one, that's putting an immense amount of responsibility on your partner, but it's like putting an intense amount of strain on your relationship, because if they're not able to provide this, and that for you, and not even just materialistically, but just like transactionally, if they're not able to do this and for you, then you don't want to do this, that, and that, or you don't feel this. Like, bro, do you love the person, or do you love what they can do? No, yeah. And I think that's what a lot of relationships are just honestly deduced down to. It's just they're purely transactional. It's not based off of love. It's not based on. It's purely.
If you don't do this for me, I will do this for you. And if you can't do this for me, then I can't do this for you.
And that's not the idea of a relationship. Like it's when you have a relationship, like a relationship between anything, like there's never going to be an equal strain on both sides. Mm-hmm. One side might be pulling a little heavier. One side might be like, it's going to shift. You're never going to have a point in the relationship where it's consistently even on both sides. And honestly, I mean, it shouldn't be. Because you shouldn't, they're not going to be able to mirror what your person is doing all the time. Sometimes you're going to be feeling bad. Sometimes you're going to be feeling good. Like, you got to make way for other people. You know what I'm saying? You got to.
There has to be some type of compromise there.
Yeah. Like, that's what it really comes down to. True love. There's no compromise with love. Like, people be saying, oh, I'm not going to cook and clean. This is just like this is just an elementary example. But it's like I'm not gonna cook and clean for my husband unless he does this. And then I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You're a human. You cannot survive if you don't cook and clean. Like that is insane.
That's gonna die.
Yeah. Like what are you talking about? Or they'd be like, I'm not doing. I would never do my husband's laundry, or you might do. It's like, bro, you're already doing laundry. You're not just gonna throw some more clothes in there. Like that's what compromising things gonna be. Like I'm already doing it. What is it to do yours too? And I already know you gonna for me get me back into something else. Like it doesn't have to be you pay this much, so I have to pay this much. No, it's you do this for the house,
I can do this for the house.
Yeah.
Or you do this for our relationship. I can do like
we work to make each other's lives easier.
exactly like complimentary is what you're looking for. You're not looking for somebody to match you and be the exact same person. You want somebody to compliment you. The things that you are not well in, you want somebody else to excel in. The things, you know what I'm saying? You need somebody to mitigate the gap. Like you would never look for your friend and be like I mean me personally, but like none of my friends are the exact same person as me. Like there's skills that my friends have or that, you know what I'm saying, people around me possess that
you're learning from.
Exactly. Like you should always be around somebody that you're learning.
Yeah.
You, like
or y'all gel, or I think even in just being in one another's presence, being able to soak in the energy that you're gaining from somebody. Sometimes just having an ear, or sometimes just having someone there for you, I think is important. But that's I think where a lot of the issues stem from as well, because I mean now you have the point where I see women go online and talk about, so I don't even want to hear a man complain about his day, and it's just stuff like that gets eaten up by people, and it's like, bro, that's why I say I don't understand why celebrity relationships are a thing, because people will liken that to a real relationship. When at the end of the day, these people will have all the money and fame that we perceive them to have, and they do all these things like buying them this and that and the third, then they're out of a relationship in a couple months.
Like these are not. These are like, you have to look at these things when they're buying this bag or this watch, going on this vacation. That is the equivalent of us going on a regular date. Respectfully, like that is not a declaration of love. That is literally just a gift. Oh, this is just, you know what I'm saying? Like that is the equivalent of you giving your girl flowers, basically. Bro. It's not like a supreme declaration of love. No. Just because you take somebody on a trip does not mean that y'all are in love with each other. It just means y'all wanted to go somewhere together. Yeah. I think that should not be like the basis of the relationship. Oh, they're going out places, so we have to go out places to make sure our relationship is good. I mean, I feel like you should travel together, but like, that's not the basis of your relationship. That's important. I think you should have somebody that likes to, like you said, to compliment you. Yeah, I do think that y'all should have, like, there should be some differences that you all have, because that way at least they expose you to different things. Yeah, exactly. You need a paradigm shift when you meet different people. Right. You need to open your perception.
But I don't think that the basis is. I think that's also a part of the problem, though, because I mean, you can always, like we were talking about, a lot of dudes don't understand when to say no, and probably vice versa. Because I mean, personally, I thought it was like fake. I didn't know it was real life. Crazy enough, I was out in public the other day, and I seen a dude like walk up to a girl to say "excuse me," and no one knows what he was about to say, but we can assume he was gonna holler at the girl. Yeah. Before he even got to get his words out, Shorty said, "I'm sorry, I don't talk about niggas." And I thought it was an Instagram thing. I didn't know that people actually did that in real life. That was the craziest thing I ever seen. Like, and she just huffed and walked away. Like that was crazy. Like, I didn't know that was, like, people really do that in real life.
And that's another thing, bro. I realize like a lot of people are not doing any of this stuff because they genuinely want to be in relationships, or they're genuinely just doing a lot of this stuff to stroke their own ego and huff themselves up. Like, a lot of these, and I'm not saying like there is genuinely a lot, but like a good amount of situations, people they just enjoy the chase. Like they just be wanted to be wanted, bro. That's all. Like they literally be getting satisfaction from the fact that they can turn people down, even if they like lucky want them. Like they'll get satisfaction from playing hard to get or acting like what is wrong with you? No, yeah. I get it, like, okay, you kind of like, you want to see some effort. Okay, I get that part. But, like, literally acting like you don't like somebody when you like them, or, like stupid things like that. Like, let's talk about it, guys. This is unhealthy behavior.
But that's why I said from the beginning, I think that there is a thing it's almost criminalized for you to put your best foot forward and effort into a relationship. Because, like you said, there's the people that will say, I'm not cooking for a man that's not my man. Yeah. If he's not my husband, I'm not cooking for you. And it's like, I'm not doing this and that for you. I'm not paying for a date if you're not my girlfriend.
So what do you attribute your idea of love to? Because, like, if you love somebody, you would do whatever. More. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, respectfully.
But then people have this idea in the back of their head, oh, I don't want to be played, or I don't want to feel like I'm used, or I want to have the one up on somebody.
Yeah. And that's like, to me, that's insane, because, like, I've always seen relationships in a pretty simplistic way. Like, everybody you love is gonna hurt you. No, yeah. Whether you want it to happen or not. No, yeah. Everybody in your life is gonna hurt you at some point. Yeah. So, like, if you don't keep this same energy with everybody, like, if you don't try to have, I don't think you should anyways, but, like, if you're not gonna try to have the one up on every single one of your relationships, why are you treating the person that you're spending the most time with like that?
No, that's true.
I feel like literally giving your worst self to the person,
it's kind of crazy.
Like that's insane.
That
and I feel like people just be doing it because like, oh, you're comfortable with me, or we're supposed to be comfortable with each other. But it's like, bro, you're literally being the worst version of yourself for somebody who's giving the best version of themselves to you. Like that's crazy.
That's pretty sick.
And then
put it like
for
that.
everybody else in your life, oh, you're gonna give them the best version of yourself. You're gonna make sure that they feel the love. But then when it gets down to your other person, oh, it's all conditional. I'm not doing this unless you do it.
Yeah.
What? When you're when you go out to eat with your friends, do you be like, well, I'm not doing this, that, and the third just because you don't have any conditions on your friends? So why do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's insane. Like I said, I think everybody gets policed differently, and I think we have to really take a step to stand back.
Yeah.
At who we are nowadays, and I use that as an opportunity to segue into sports, man, because someone is going to have to take a stand back and really a sit down for a little bit is Patrick Beverley. Following the Bucks' loss to the Pacers in the first round, he at the end of the game was caught throwing a ball at a fan, who then caught the ball, threw it back to him, and then threw it back at them. And then after the game, when he was by going to the interviews, the first reporter I think started to ask him a question. He said, "Are you subscribed to the Patrick Beverley podcast?" She says no. He says, "Okay, get out the interview. You can't interview if you're not subscribed."
I love Patrick Beverley, bro.
He's insane.
He is. You need people like him, bro. Like as insane as that guy is, like you just need people like that, bro.
Wow.
He's literally insane. I know he is, but like I don't know why. You just need people like him and Draymond. You need people like that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though. Patrick Beverley, which Nick Wright, who's a lifelong LeBron lover, went on a big rant about how Patrick Beverley essentially hasn't carved out anything for himself in terms of the NBA career, and that he pointed to him being on a myriad of teams to essentially Patrick Beverley being worthless or more negative than he is positive for a team.
That's true.
Which I think I can make the argument too. I think
if that's the case, he would never be picked up.
Yeah.
Like there's respectfully, like if you were to look at it through that scope, into that lens, there's a myriad of players who are more talented than they are on the trading block.
That would be on somewhere else. That'd be playing.
You know what I mean? Like there's clearly something that he brings to a team that he offers that teams continuously want to pick up on.
Nah.
And it's not like he's just getting picked up on boo-boo teams. Like he's getting picked up on championship.
Yeah, teams that's going to the playoffs.
Teams. Yeah.
So I think that's crazy.
I don't like this assessment of judging players just based off their offensive skills.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally more to being a basketball player than just competing offensively and defensively. And
that brings me to a little sub argument. I hate that I don't even know, like, but as a community, I'd say in a sports community, people are starting to, especially since a lot of athletes are getting a voice now, the opportunity to get podcasts and do their own interview, do their own publications, that we are discounting what guys are saying that don't play or haven't had a history in sports, or maybe not have gone to the ranks that some of these guys have gone, just because they haven't gone to these ranks. And like somebody can critique somebody's shooting percentage. Why are you talking about shooting percentage? He shoot better than you. But it's like,
so he's still it's a percentage, right? It's up there, statistics. What do you mean? Like I think it's crazy.
Because it's like when you look at these guys, like for example, if you got 450 players in the NBA, I'm comparing y'all to the top player.
Yeah.
So this is your job, because I mean, any job, if you're at McDonald's and you can't put together a burger, they're gonna say, bro, you suck at putting together burgers. Yeah. In comparison to the person that can make 100 burgers in 10 minutes, what are you doing? What are you getting paid for?
Yeah.
So I don't understand that, because I always see these guys going at other athletes for that. And bringing back Shannon Sharpe, he went on Shaq went on a tirade with him and even dropped a diss track on him, which is a later point for me, but I can say in the NBA playoffs too, we also recently noticed that Nikola Jokic was awarded the MVP.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's a third-time MVP. I personally don't think he should have won that award.
I don't either.
I think 2 of the awards that he won, he shouldn't have won.
That's what I've been saying, bro. I think respectfully, like, he always should have been a candidate because,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
he was. It's hard to argue with that, but like, respectfully, I just don't understand what the metrics are that you're measuring
seriously.
the MVP on at this point because, like, in other situations, you win because you're performing better.
Right.
The dude who was performing better than you statistically and whose team was ranked higher than you lost to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get what we're judging anymore.
Right.
I swear, I don't get it no more.
Because if we're just gonna say, oh, because he's the best player in the league, LeBron been the best player for
Exactly.
ever, and LeBron is literally a plug and play player. Whatever team you put LeBron James on throughout his history has had a chance to win a championship. Mm-hmm. Whether I put him on the Cavs, who were the sorriest team, I put you on the team. I was able to get them to a playoff
Contention within like 2 years, bro.
You know what I'm saying? He wins he leaves, goes to Miami. They are back in the lottery, picking up Kyrie, Andrew Wiggins, all these other guys, getting number 1 picks, number 2 picks, Anthony Bennett. Year in and year out, I come back, they win a championship. I leave, they're back being trash.
Yeah.
LeBron James is the catalyst to this.
Yeah.
The Lakers were the bottom of the bottoms. LeBron James comes over there. In a couple years, they'll get a ring. Mm-hmm. Bro, LeBron James is literally a plug and play player, but he only has so many MVP awards.
Like, that's what I don't understand because, like,
he is a most valuable player.
Yeah, like, bro, I don't get it because LeBron should like at least have like very minimum have 6 MVPs.
Yeah,
like, very minimum. Like realistically, he should probably have like 8.
Yeah.
But like, if LeBron got stopped at like 4. And he LeBron. I don't think like the other candidates were really all that close. Mm-hmm. Like respectfully, I think there was a couple of years where KD and Kobe, you know, were all kind of like they were called kind of neck and neck. Yeah, but like Jokic is literally had people competing with him every year, like arguably competing better than him.
No, yeah. I thought Curry should have won 1 year over him.
I swear, I don't get it, bro. How do you average 37 points a game and not get an MVP and single-handedly bring your team to playoff contention? Like, I think that's crazy.
If I didn't play, they were headed straight to the lottery.
Yeah, like, I don't know, bro.
OKC was not good a couple years ago. Now, they were average when Shea first got over there, and they brought over Chris Paul, and, you know, they were coming off the years with Paul George and Melo, or whatever. But I took the youngest team in the NBA. I think it's them and the Hornets, neck and neck for the youngest teams in the NBA. And you can see the opposite end. The Hornets are anywhere but the playoffs. Right. But I was able to bring this team. Well, I'm now second round. Yeah. The playoffs right now. We've been smoking everybody.
We're the number 1 team in the league.
Bruh.
But for me, like they at some point where they've got to carve out the metrics for the MVP award because I don't get it. Is it a regular season award? Is it all cohesive, cumulative awards? Like I don't get it.
It's just based on popularity.
Yeah, like
what are we doing?
If we're just doing it based on votes, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, because the other year was it Ja Morant won Most Improved. Crazy work. Yeah. You were a lottery pick. And you improved a little bit, which I thought there was other guys like Zach LaVine. There was guys who did a crazy uptick in scoring. This year, we had Tyrese Maxey win Most Improved. I think he progressed 6 points a game. You lost James Harden. Something was going to happen here. Yeah. Versus Kobe White upping like his point per game, like almost 12 points a game, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And he didn't get it. So it's like, what are we doing? What are we ranking these? Is it just popularity? Is whoever has the most national TV games?
And even when Ja won it, like I had DeJounte Murray winning it. That was my guy. I was like, what is the award based off? Because you're not the most improved player.
No, yeah.
Like you cannot have the award for most improved player. You're not the most. You were a number 1 option ever since you came into the league. How can you be the most? You're still a number 1 option. You're just taking more shots now.
No, yeah.
That's what's supposed to happen.
That's math.
These other guys are going from being bench players to being bona fide starters, bro. No, yeah. That's crazy.
That is an immense improvement.
Yeah. And then, like, on top of that, going up, like, 10, 12 points a game. Like, bro, what are we talking about?
But I just, like, yes, I think you can make an argument for Jokic, but, like, that's what I think is my issue with the NBA as a whole, because they're not doing a great job pushing the next talents.
No.
Bro, let's do what it is. Shea got the youngsters right now. He's got them.
Like, I feel like that would have been the icing on the cake. Like, you would have literally extended him to stardom, bro, because he's already the face of the league, low key. He's already bringing Converse back. He's already the fashion dude.
Yeah.
Made him the MVP. Why did you make him the cover athlete 2K?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of campaign are you running? You gonna make him the cover athlete? You gonna make him this, and that, and then you're not gonna give him the MVP? I feel like, bro, this is all encompassing.
And I think too, because they've changed the grading scales and who's allowed to vote and how the votes are counted. It's trash. But basically, I think Shaq had a point of dissension with how Shannon Sharpe responded to Shaq's point of dissension with who he believed should have been MVP player. And then Shaq went on to talk about, you aren't as good as me as a player, so you shouldn't be allowed to talk about basketball.
To Shannon Sharpe?
Yeah. And it was just weird because he just did this thing. I got more money than you. I was better in my field than you were. So my opinion is worth more. So he said, since we have hot takes, we should do, that's what we said. You shouldn't have an opinion on anything unless you did better than said person. Which is crazy because Shaq's the biggest big man hater ever.
Yeah.
He talks about Rudy Gobert every day, talking about somebody, I should be way more. Basically, because Rudy Gobert made more money than him in his NBA career, even though obviously inflation's a thing.
Yeah,
but
it's just time.
At the end of the day, bro, it's like you said, there's different ways to evaluate what we should be calling value to a team. Yes, Rudy Gobert has a max contract, but Rudy Gobert is essential as an anchor to the defense for the Timberwolves. He's 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
And much, I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't even like Rudy Gobert. But
no, seriously,
like,
I don't think he's that good.
No, I swear up, but like
he rebounds and blocks shots.
Yeah, that's what his job
Catch
is.
lobs.
He excels at it. Yeah,
and like you say, he does it at a great level.
Yeah.
He's slides his feet on the perimeter. I can guard the guys on the perimeter. I can switch. I'll give him that. Defensive Player of the Year. I'm blocking every shot, and if I don't block it, I'm challenging and contesting, and y'all altering shots, throwing up crazy stuff. I'm an anchor.
It's like the same thing is said for like Draymond or other people. Like you can say whatever you want to say. You can try to observe the game however you want to, but like you can't deny that he's an essential part of a team.
No, seriously.
He's an anchor for the team. When it's statistically proven when he doesn't play, they play worse.
Yeah, but I just don't. I just hate that take.
Yeah,
that. People be like, bro, just because you, and like Shannon Sharpe's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
but like it's just so crazy that, and then like to Shaq's own counterpoint, Shannon Sharpe brought up to him and was like, bro, you even in the same thing the paragraph they wrote about him, he's like, I'm the guy that didn't even work hard.
Yeah.
And Shannon Sharpe was like, bro,
nobody can say that about me.
Yeah, I worked hard to get myself from Jackson State to an NFL Hall of Fame.
Like Shannon Sharpe's draft rating was like 30 something.
No, seriously.
Like out of 100, 30.
I got myself to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I got rings.
So that's like saying Tom Brady is not allowed to speak on quarterbacks because he wasn't the best quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Well, he was drafted. He was the last draft pick in the NFL draft, and I mean, he's arguably one of the best football players of all time.
Yeah, because he's got all these rings. It's the same thing, plug and play player.
Yeah,
I figured it out. I figured out where there was a gap in the system. Now you can make an argument about Shaq, brother. Like he said, like Shannon Sharpe said, bro, you being top 10 is a point of contention for some people. Some people might have you anywhere from 5 to 15.
Yeah.
But like Shannon Sharpe said, if you were, like I said, you were a player who didn't come and listen to criticism. Mm-hmm. If you were Mr. Based on his own admission, I didn't work hard. You're Mr. I didn't work hard. If you would have worked hard, you know, I think it's like 10,000 more points you'd have racked up in free throws. If you would have just shot 75 to 80% from the free throw line, not even saying you got to be 100%.
7,000 more points.
Then that closes a lot of the gap. That might get you maybe one more ring because maybe some of those close games where we hacking a Shaq, cash, we can't stop you.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to stop you. You're averaging 35 points a game. We cannot stop you. You're missing free throws. Now you add that with we can't just foul him because he's cashing out for the free throw line. There's no way to stop you.
Yeah, you would have averaged like 45 a game.
And then at that point we can't question who you are as a player. But that's like I said, if we are not allowed to make criticism because bro, you were making half of your shots on the free throw line, then how do you improve as a player?
Yeah. If we're not allowed to, I mean, if nobody's allowed to make criticisms, then you aren't either.
No, seriously.
You're not qualified to speak on everything that you be speaking on. You be speaking on shooting. You can't shoot worth a damn.
Like, he'd be telling Embiid, you need to go down to the paint more.
Yeah. Why?
Brother.
He can shoot.
Yeah.
I can dribble.
What are we talking about?
I can do a myriad of things that you could never do. Why would I listen to you?
No, seriously. So I hate that in sports. That I thought that was just so funny because a lot of these artists and athletes are just so sensitive when it comes to some of this stuff. And I think it was like you said, drawing it back to the Patrick Beverley thing. I thought it was so funny because that fan getting under his skin and how these guys be so quick to kick dudes out. I think it's kind of trash. Yeah. I get it. You shouldn't be dropping hard on people like that.
No, I think like and when you're genuinely being a nuisance, I think like, hey, bro, watch him or something like that. That's fine. But like, well, if you're just
$10,000 to come sit courtside and heckle you.
Yeah, like let me heckle you, bro.
Know what I'm saying?
But like being disrespectful and I ain't gonna lie, you gotta go, bro.
No, seriously. But I mean, these dudes go to, bro, like half of y'all, come on, bro. Y'all grew up in communities where you went to the park or you had people showing up at your games talking smack, cash money, smack on the court side, and you shut them up by your play, and now you're upset because somebody got to say something on the sideline. Yeah, you trash.
Now I think like
now throw you out.
Yeah, regular feedback, bro. Come on, like you gotta. You're literally performing for the public, bro. You're up for criticism.
I know, seriously.
However you want to look at it. Now I don't understand why Shaq. To piggyback on, I don't know why he was so hurt by that because I mean, respectfully, with Jokic winning, he's not touching your legacy.
No, seriously.
It's not like you getting knocked off or nothing.
No.
It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. Why are you so upset?
Nah, if he wins 4 more rings, what do you think?
If he wins 4 more rings, yeah. But he has to win 4 more rings.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jokic is his own brand of basketball. I don't think anywhere near, and I don't think anyone makes the argument that Jokic is near as dominant as Shaq.
They don't, but they say he. I ain't gonna lie.
They are saying he's the best player in the league.
They're not even the best player. They say that a couple years ago. I wouldn't even say just like last year. A couple years ago, they were saying he was the best center of all time.
Some people were making some bold, crazy statements.
And I feel like that's literally insane. Like he's not even top 5.
No,
respectfully,
I do think Jokic is talented. He can pass the heck out of the ball, and
I don't think he's the best. He don't even think he's the best center in the league. Me personally, I think Embiid's better than him.
Embiid destroys him every time they play.
Like I don't.
But I think the thing that a lot of people don't have, and that's why I say that a lot of these hoopers shouldn't be talking about basketball either, because a lot of them are stupid. Like I saw I listened to Brandon Jennings talk about Donovan Mitchell was not. I was like, bro, he better than you. What are you talking about?
I think that was like low-key some.
He's hating.
He was literally just playing.
You just hating
because like for one, I knew I could see it in his face. Like he was just like. I don't know, bro. Like, to me, he just not even.
Yeah, they were like, how?
Yeah.
And just to me, he not like. Yeah. How? But
I get like if you were to say, I just want to see a little bit more killer in him. I just want to see him like just destroy people a little bit more. Okay, I can get that.
It's like
he's destroying them, but I get you want to say like I just want to see him go on a rainy tear because he's a lot more talented than he is.
Right.
That's different. Which you know what I'm saying, but saying, oh, he just not that killer, bro. He scored 70 points. What are you talking about? Like, didn't he do it like multiple times?
Bro, he's OD. Like the close out. Yeah, he was talking about like, oh, it was the Magic. At the end of the day, the Magic, like, and that's why I say like, bro, because I talk about a little smack about the Magic too, but you have to contextually be able to analyze things. Yeah. At the end of the day, they were headed possibly out of the playoffs, but Donovan Mitchell, I think it was 89 points over the last 2 games he scored to basically switch that series around.
Yeah, and then like Rashad made a point. He was like to rebut on him. He was like, bro, you're talking about him going to 7 games with the Magic. Bro, you got swept by the Pacers.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? You lost the trash teams, too.
You scored 55 points once, and then you became a mediocre player.
Yeah, like, bro, all due respect, like, Brandon Jennings was talented. He was supposed to be him, but, like, you're speaking from a what-if kind of stance where you're speaking on a player who's literally doing it.
No, seriously. Like, it'd be one thing if, like, Donovan Mitchell was like, oh, you could be doing it, bro. Yeah. And he averaging 15. Like, you busting.
Yeah. Huh? Like, I understand. That's why I said,
especially in the playoffs. He be going dumb.
I can understand if he said, I just want to see him. And I feel like sometimes he just be playing with his food a little bit. I feel like he could really just destroy. Okay, that's different. Like, you know that he's a killer and you saying he could just kill more. That's different. Cool. But you saying that he's not a killer when he's averaging 30 points. He's scored 70 points, scored 60 points on multiple games. Bro, what the heck are you talking about? What the heck makes you a killer then?
No, seriously.
I think niggas just be saying, if you don't play like Kobe, you're not a killer.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, that does not make you an offensive killer. Kobe was one example of an offensive killer, but right. There's plenty of ways you can do it.
No, seriously.
But Donovan Mitchell goes downhill respectfully. Nobody's stopping him.
No, seriously. And I think Donovan Mitchell is somebody who I salute. And we talk about that all the time because when he was coming out of high school,
I swear I be talking about this all the time. I never thought Donovan Mitchell was like that, bro.
No.
And he's one of those like players for me that busted their arse, bro. Like he got seriously. To the league and genuinely made an insane turnaround.
No, yeah.
Like he's one of the players that I would say, like, if you get into the league and you kind of like he made an insane turnaround. Kelly Oubre made a pretty big turnaround too. Like he came in, he was averaging like 7 points in Kansas and came in. He's averaging like almost 20 points. It took a little while, but like he's carved away after himself. Donovan Mitchell literally became a star talent. Like he was a dunker, bro.
No, yeah, seriously.
He was a dunker.
Dunker on defense.
And became a shooter, shot creator, like an offensive killer now.
He's tough.
Like it's actually insane watching him play, bro.
I mean, I'm looking at some of his most recent playoff outings. I mean,
yeah, he's unreal. A
lot of people forget about the battle he had with Jamal Murray in the bubble. I mean, that was I mean, talking about 57, 51, 41, 30. Like he was going off.
Yeah, I don't see that take at all. That was an insane take. But he was just hating.
Yeah, seriously hating. But I found that to be just so funny that a lot of these guys be so quick to not accept criticism, but then we allow these guys to talk about it when they're invalidating a lot of the experiences or a lot of what relegates some of these opportunities to players. Because a lot of it, like I said, is contextual. Like there's certain reasons behind a lot of this stuff going on that a lot of people don't even understand when they're ranking some of these guys. Let me see, because I thought I meant to say, like a lot of people were talking about Dwayne Wade compared to Anthony Edwards and whatnot. But yeah, I thought that SHAQ thing was insane because, yes, I don't think Jokic should have won it, but to be like, you can't talk about me is...
Yeah, like I think I saw people were finding issue with the fact that he said, I don't think he should have won it. I don't care about that at all because Shaq has always been vocal to all the players.
About who he was or wasn't.
Yeah,
I think he was like right after the game. He told Jokic, you shouldn't have won that, bro.
Yeah,
he told Jokic to his face. Yeah, you should have won it.
And I respect that. Like for me, you gotta if you don't agree with something, for me, just let me know. Whatever. Like you're essentially your commentator, bro. You're an analyst. It's kind of your job. But to be like, to another analyst or somebody who's working in sports media as well, be like, you can't say nothing just because you're not an NBA player. Okay, so does that mean that Nick Wright can't say anything? Does that mean Skip Bayless can't talk anything?
No, nobody can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Or and it's funny you brought up Gilles Arenas and Rashad McCants. Rashad McCants, what they're talking to, the one girl they had was in the WNBA. I'm sorry. That was she was in the WNBA and played overseas. But she was telling her, you can't speak on what it means to be a leader on the basketball court because you haven't played in the NBA. And she was like, well, I'm a woman, so.
Yeah.
But that be how a lot of dudes be talking. And that was the craziest form of it I've ever seen. It was like, Brad, what? Nobody can speak on anything then.
Yeah.
And then they goes down to, well, you can't talk about what it takes to be a professional NBA superstar because you weren't. And you were highly rated out of high school.
I think that's like it's like kind of unfair statement.
Yeah, because like I said, I think anybody's open to criticism. Like I said, if you work at McDonald's and you got somebody that makes 100 patties in 10 minutes and then you can't make one, somebody should be able to say, bro, what are you doing?
And any given moment where your performance is able to be watched and graded, I feel like you're up for criticism.
Yeah, in any form. Like you go to a restaurant and you don't feel like you got good service, man, that waiter was trash.
Yeah.
But you can't go to a game and be like, this dude's trash.
I think that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I think you shouldn't be able to discount, like, you know, you're in the NBA, so salute to you. But I always talk about, I think that at least on the bottom half, there's a bottom half of at least probably 50 to 100 players that could be replaced by another guy somewhere out there in the world. If there wasn't politics or desires or paths that led them to that point. I think I think that there's a larger discrepancy between, like I said, LeBron and the bottom half of guys that play professional basketball than there is to somebody who's never played basketball. Because I think, personally, I don't hoop anymore. I probably haven't got run up and down in months. But if I had good knees, I have a better chance of being on the same level as somebody who's in the bottom half of the NBA than
they do with being LeBron.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like personally, I've sat in on a lot of these guys, workouts, training, competition. I've seen a lot of these NBA games up close. Got to see very, very close these games. Mm. The difference in like reads, moves, ability, agility that some of the top guys have is next level.
LeBron was literally calling out sets for other teams. Like, he does that consistently. Like, he is calling out other teams' sets, and the coaches are like, bro, how did this nigga know our plays?
And like I can hearken it to, I was watching a Hornets versus Suns game, and I think I was in like the 8th row, so it's pretty close. I got some steel tickets on that. Anyways, watching Devin Booker, the way he protected the ball, and it was like the defense couldn't get a hand on it. How he was able to, with simplicity, be able to get to his spot, rise up, cash over you, and it's just easy. There's no I'm trying here. It never gave me that aura. Chris Paul being able to see plays happening before. I think he had it was like 19 or 18, 17 assists, something crazy he had that game. I'm like, the fact that he's seeing these things, but I'm watching on the alternate end of things, a lot of these players on the Hornets, and I'm like, the reads they're making are not coming together nearly as quickly as I'm seeing on the other end. And like I'm seeing Devin Booker and Chris Paul, how they're operating. Eric, not Bledsoe, but Eric, that he's playing the Rockets. Anyways, but the way I'm seeing some of these guys play, but definitely, Eric Gordon, I'm sorry. Oof. But yeah, I'm seeing how these guys are able to put together plays. That's how they're stopping on a dime, how they're stepping back, how their footwork is crisp, how the ball handling is tight. The plays that they're making is seamless versus some of these guys in the Hornets. Because when it wasn't LaMelo or Miles Bridges or something like that had the ball, it was so different. I mean, watching those two. And that's why it's such a difference. Yeah. It's such a difference. Like I said, I've seen guys that play in the G League go out there and they go out in the pro-am and drop. I've seen it drop 40, 30, whatever. But then, like, if you bring LeBron or somebody in there, Steph Curry, it's another level. Yeah. These guys are in another world, and rightfully so, because, I mean, they're at the top of the league. Mm. But that's why I think, and that's why I say I got to give Jokic his props, because I think where Jokic's strength is, he sees the game and understands the game so well, because without athleticism, he knows how to pick his spot so well. Yeah. He's so good. I think these pick and rolls, he rolls and shortens his roll to that either a mid-range catch and shoot, or he's really good at catching that in-stride floater. Mm-hmm. And so he really keeps everything down to a simple science where he's not having to work hard to do all these crazy moves. And when he posts up, I throw my weight, drop steps. That's all you need, drop steps. I always tell people, I don't understand how big men can't score the ball. Just learn how to do a drop step. Yeah. And they can't do it. But there's a simplicity to being able to score. Obviously, from there onwards, you have to be able to make adjustments and counters. But I respect Jokic because he just understands the game so well. The way he can pass the ball and everything like that. Now, best center of all time, I mean, that's still yet to be desired. It's still yet to be seen. But I think that's one of my hot takes, is that I think that if you have a little bit of basketball experience, you're probably closer to being like an NBA player than, and I get it. You know, I mean, you train every day. So, I mean, I would just hope that you could cook somebody that's not hooping anymore, even if they have hoop experience. But you're nowhere like watching a lot of like the Rockets guys when they had the young squad, and these guys playing with like Devin Booker, Chris Paul. I've seen videos of that, and it's just like, man, they not on the same level. No. Like I said, you watch some of these guys on the bottom half teams. You watch them play. You watch a Pistons game, and then you watch a Nuggets game. Two separate games you're watching. But anyways, that leads me right into hot take haven, because I don't think I got much more on sports. But hot take haven, I got a couple hot takes, man. One thing I think is cereal is unnecessary.
Like the breakfast.
Yeah. I think it's been years since I've eaten cereal. I think I got it to a certain point where my metabolism just got so fast. I was just eating cereal, and I was like, bro, this isn't actually doing anything for me.
Yeah, no.
I'm just eating
that,
sugar in a bowl.
In like middle school. Like it doesn't fill me up.
Doesn't do anything for me. You're just eating sugar in a bowl of milk.
Yeah. Like I've always been like I'd rather have cream of wheat, grits,
Yeah.
oatmeal, something filling. Honestly, eggs or breakfast. I won't say that I don't like cereal. I don't eat it a lot, but when I crave like one of my favorite cereals, I might get a box here now and then.
No, yeah.
It's never like it doesn't fill me up, but it's like a snack.
I'll leave it like what is it called? Like a Raisin Bran or like a what's that joint called? Honey Bunches of Oats.
Yeah.
Or Cheerios. I'll keep it simple. Something like that. I think there's something to it. Yeah. Some whole wheat. But like most cereal now is a waste of time.
Yeah, no.
Now this is an interesting one. You should learn the language before you travel.
Yeah. Or like at least know how to navigate.
Okay. I agree with
that.
that.
With the language.
Because I don't think you have I think that'll limit the most of the world from being able to travel.
I think
you'd be learning language.
If you're going somewhere where there's gonna be a definite language barrier, like say if you're going to Mexico, you should know how to navigate.
No, yeah, sure.
Everybody around you is
go to the resort.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, or be around, or have a tour guide, or have somebody. They have translation options. Or,
no, seriously.
You know what I'm saying, like you have to do something to mitigate the language barrier.
No facts.
You can't just go overseas and literally not know anything. Because how are you going to communicate? How are you going to do anything?
I can argue that you should know something about the culture.
Yeah.
Because, especially if you go overseas, there's some stuff you gotta learn before you get out there. Like I saw like people talking about camo is banned in the Middle East. She's like some people were getting yanked in the airport for having like they go through your bag and you have like some type of camo. They'll detain you.
Yeah. So like you have to brush up on a lot of the rules.
Stuff like that, my fault. Stuff like that I think is important, but I don't think you have to completely learn the language.
No. Maybe like a couple of greetings.
Yeah, and just understand what you're getting yourself into. Don't just come out there and be a culture vulture and just want to go sit on the beach. No, come out there and understand what you're doing. Road trips are overrated.
I don't think so.
I personally am somebody who, and I think I voice this a lot. I hate traveling. I like going places. Mm-hmm. I'm someone who likes to go places. I go places pretty frequently, but I don't like the process of traveling. Which, so to a lot of people, specifically road trips, is where you have the most fun because you're bonding on the way there. I don't like sitting around for hours waiting. I don't like that. So for me,
see, essentially, like that's not a road trip. You're not supposed to just be sitting around. You're supposed to be like a road trip is essentially you're on the road. Your resort or whatever is on the road. Like we're traveling and we're stopping places as we go. Like a real road trip is usually in like an RV or something like that, and we're essentially we're stopped. Like this is like a great magnitude of a trip. We're stopping at multiple locations.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I've never really realistically experienced a real road trip. It looks fun. It looked like it'd be a good experience. I can't say it's overrated or underrated.
Nah, I think because I think the first thing that came up to my head was long trips in the car to get to places, and then maybe doing a little stopping here and there, but nah. I haven't done. I guess if you think about it like that, I guess it's the same thing. Because if you're in an RV, an RV is a little different because you can walk around and stuff like that. But I think it's the same thing. You're trying to go into a destination. But I think you're right in the sense that if you're going somewhere, but you're able to stop and appreciate certain points along the way, I've done that.
Because I don't think I have.
I
think I might have we went to New York and might have stopped someplace in New Jersey or somewhere.
There's times we've gone up there and we've stopped along the way this is the university here, this is this restaurant we want to check out here, here's this city here. We've done that before. But even in California we've done that. Going up to the geysers, we were able to stop and see, hey, there's this here, there's this here. But
that's more so like a trip.
Okay, I agree with that.
That's maybe I'm
hating because I think probably at the time those were fun experiences doing it that way. Yeah. But overrated, that's an interesting point to make. This is interesting. We have regressed as a society with tech, relationships, jobs, and money.
I don't think we have. I think we've regressed in certain aspects of relationships and money. In certain aspects, yeah, we have. Mm-hmm. But think about history is it repeats itself. So if it happens at one point in history, it's bound to happen again.
Oh, yeah.
Type of thing. Like you can only get so high before you plateau out again and kind of just revert down to your basics.
I don't think we've regressed, but I do think that you're right. We're at a point where we're shifting downwards. There's a downwards trend,
Like
when it comes to money, because the value of the dollar is not the same than it was. Obviously, there's a thing called inflation, but like when they talk about the corresponding of how of the dollar to how much it would cost to live, now that difference in this there's a huge disparity now because that same dollar can't be valued the same way anymore. Right. I do think yes, in relations we've regressed because obviously if you look at the stats, less people are being married, etc., etc.
We're dissociated as a society.
Yeah.
Like following the pandemic, that happens.
Tech, yes. I don't think. I'm sorry. No, we have not regressed.
Yeah.
But I could argue that it's become more of a commercialized thing. So we have a facade in front of our face where we're not really seeing as much progression as we believe that there is. Yeah. Because if you look at it, what's different between the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 8?
Yeah. But like again, as they speak to that commercialized, like when it comes to commercialized tech, we ain't really doing too much. But as far as tech in of itself, I think we've reached like a point where we can't really go much further before we start playing God. Yeah. Like we're at a point where it's like artificial intelligence and whatever we're doing is like we're getting to a point where it's like, what else can you do? That's true. I feel like we're really eclipsing that pinnacle.
Oh, yeah. I'd say that. And I don't think we've regressed when it comes to jobs because I think now more than ever there's more opportunities for people to do anything they want to do. So
I think there's been I think that, like you said, just like the same thing with money, there's certain aspects of every industry or whatever that you could argue that we've regressed in. Certain aspects, like I do think commercially in tech we've kind of like regressed or become stagnant, or like jobs. There's been certain regression within certain industries or certain stagnants. I guess I should say. Or like certain industries are kind of dated or a little behind, or we regressed within certain things. Like we don't have unions, or we don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like certain things, certain aspects.
Yeah, like I said, there's probably like I said a downward trend, but like you said, these are gonna go like this forever. Anyways, they're gonna go up and down. And I have a quick segment called "What Would You Do?" And man, so I guess the first one is, what would you do if you found cash in the street? Now, it doesn't say how much cash. You want to put a number on it?
Sure.
Let's say $500,000. What would you do? Just laying in the street.
I want to say I would take it because I'm not gonna hold you. I would want to take it, but like to me as a person, that would be very weird.
That'd be alarming.
Yeah, like if I saw $500,000 in the street, I'd be like, bro, this is almost 100% a setup.
Oh yeah. It's gotta be fake money. It's gotta be what's going on here. It's gotta be. It's a YouTube video. Yeah. Like So I think that'd be my first thing. Like, where did this come from? Right. What do I do? Like, what's because I think there was like a story of like some lady that like I think she got like it was like maybe whatever it was an absorbent amount of money deposited into her account, so she immediately just started spending it, and then they requested for the money back, and she was like, "Well, I spent some of it," and they sued her, so she's like going to jail for something like that. Yeah, and so
that would be like something like that would be my fear because I feel like somebody would call and try to claim the money and be like, "Okay, well, where's the money?" So honestly, I think I would probably turn it in, but I'm pocketing some of that for sure. Yeah. Respectfully.
I think that'd be that's always my biggest thought. So like I'd be like, yo, if I just woke up with X amount of money right now, that'd be amazing. Yeah. But then, like I said, if that just unless it was Mr. Beast, I probably I wouldn't take the money because you don't just wake up and get money like that. So I'd be like, bro, there has to be some type of catch that there's just money, specifically if I just saw it laying in the street.
Now, if I knew for a fact, like if it was just like, say I was going home and I went to check the mailbox or something, and there was like $100,000 sitting in the mailbox, that's a little different. Yeah. Even still, I would be like, "But what is this doing in my mailbox?" Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, some of that is staying with me for sure.
I feel that.
Cause that's my crib. Right. It can't be too meticulous.
Facts.
But it can't be.
I got an interesting one here. Who would you marry if you could marry anyone right now? I think the first thing that's coming to my head is probably a celebrity, because I don't think if there's anyone I knew that I could marry, I think I would have done it. I get that there's like wrong time, or wrong person, or I'm sorry, right person, wrong timing. Yeah. But I don't think, I probably experienced some of that, but I don't think it's been to the point where I would like marry that person, like drop everything and marry them. So if I could do it on top of my head, it'd probably be a celebrity or Instagram shorty. Yeah, there's somebody right now.
It would be in some way, shape, or form getting me some type of security. It would not be. Yeah. I know what we just talked about, y'all, but it would be. Right now, I would not be in the place to marry anybody just off of the thought of pure love and affection. So it would have to be security wise, because come on now. Mm-hmm.
I would probably, the first person that comes to my head is like, this is celebrity, so I would say Margot Robbie. Get the money on, get those experiences. I'll be a house husband for Margot Robbie. That's fine with me.
I would maybe say like,
well, Tyler, Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I say Rihanna. She's a billionaire.
Yeah, you said if I asked a Rocky for that thing.
Yeah. No, that facts. She is dead already. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Margot Robbie is in a relationship or not.
She? Oh, Margot Robbie. For some reason, I was thinking of Marjorie, Steve Harvey's wife. Yeah. But yeah, damn, Margot Robbie, that's fire.
Yeah, man. She's booked and busy. I'm alright being at the house.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. It would definitely be a house husband role. Like, I would literally just be taking care of the house, bro.
Yeah, and I'd be Mr. Show her off.
Yeah.
Like, you know TikTok with bros just running around all day? Like, that'd be me. Oh, she's coming. Don't even take a step, my queen. Yeah. Nah, I'd be on that type of time. But yeah, that's the first person I'd say come ahead. You got anybody?
Maybe Oprah.
You want straight security? I'd show somebody, at least I would know they get that money, but I would at least be able to wake up in bed and be like,
yeah, nah. Oprah is purely security. Mm-hmm. I would say like Rihanna, any of them with money, I ain't gonna lie. They all pretty or whatever, so I don't really...
Because I was thinking Instagram shorty at first, and I was like, a lot of these shorties be broke.
Yeah, and they be brain dead. So
brain dead. That's what I couldn't even sit in the room with a lot of these women for like a long time. I'd be like, all right, bro. You said kind of like anybody?
Yeah.
Safavians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Margot Robbie or Tyler probably.
Any of them like pretty shorties with money.
Yeah, that's cool.
I ain't gonna lie. Like,
that checked the box for me too.
Yeah.
Now, interesting question here.
It's hypothetical.
Hypotheticals, of course. What job would you do if all jobs paid the same? And I don't know if I don't know if it's performance based, but that's interesting. But yeah, I'll ask that question if you got anything on top of your head.
If all jobs paid the same.
So no matter what you do, bills get paid.
I would probably do something like working with animals or something like real chill. Like I ain't gonna lie, maybe like working a zoo or something like mad out the way and chill. I don't know, because I'm trying to think of like the easiest job to do, but like I don't know.
Because I feel like I want to enjoy it too.
Yeah, like if I was to do a job that I think I would genuinely enjoy and my bills is paid, I don't know. Like, it would be something dumb, bro. Like I really don't know. Maybe like I don't know, bro. Like a lifeguard or something. Like it's really easy.
And that's what I was thinking about performance based, because I would probably make content all day.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, is it like I have to be
at a certain level?
But I would assume not, because I guess, like I said, if it's not, it can't be performance based because they're all paying the same. Because that would make the same. Because you know what I'm saying? If you work in sales, and you can make more or less. But I mean, okay.
Well then.
Yeah, I'd make content.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
I'd probably vlogging daily.
Yeah, I'd probably make content.
I'd have fun with that. Make content.
Or be like. Yeah, probably yeah.
Because I'm guessing it wouldn't matter how many views you get because they all pay the same.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what you do to make content.
Yeah,
there's a myriad of things you could do.
Yeah, so I probably would do that. That or because I could yap all day.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun to me, and then I'd pay the bills. Or it would be something like maybe like you said with the youth, like youth coaching or something like that.
Yeah, like it would be.
either something with youth or like animals, like something that I could genuinely do all the time. Like,
well, no matter what.
Yeah. Something that I genuinely find joy in. Like I would find joy in coaching kids or you know what I'm saying, just leading up that next generation, providing them with some positivity.
Yeah.
Or I would be like, that could be a motivational speaker. I don't know. Like anything that I would like kind of naturally enjoy. That I would enjoy something like that.
Yeah. So
it's kind of tough to think about because like you got to think about how strenuous a lot of these jobs are when you take away the money aspect.
Because a lot of people really just do a lot of stuff for money.
Yeah, that's majority of people.
Like I could, because I was done with it, but I could bring up. I think we were talking about it earlier. The like for example, like, let's talk about the OnlyFans or the sex industry. That's a booming industry. I think it's a $1 trillion industry simply because people will do anything they need to do to get money. So whether they think about the lifetime damages or the effects or anything like that, thinking about, bro, I have a chance to get money right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do stuff for the money, regardless of how easy or difficult it might seem. People go, and, you know, I mean, because you even talk about the like laborer jobs that people do just because the day it pays the bills.
Yeah.
Some people really have an enjoyment though for this stuff, but do you like I think like you said, if they all pay the same, how much do you really enjoy it? Because I love basketball. I get hurt a lot though. Do I want to go play basketball? Like, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, WWE, these guys get paid, but like would I do all that? Like you're working every week, which everybody works every week, but you're putting your body through it.
That's what I was like. That is like an enjoyable thing for me now because like I'm looking at the money aspect. I would not want to put my body through that.
No, yeah,
respectfully.
Because like you know, like any little thing you could go wrong. You broke an arm, you broke it, whatever. Like, you're just getting beat up all day. Same thing like if you're in the USA, or whatever, you're just getting beat up. Same thing with like basketball. Like if I play 82 games a year, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like I'm torn up.
Yeah,
48 minutes running.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, even thinking about it now, I would not do that if like it didn't have what it did. I ain't gonna lie.
No, yeah. Because I mean, like people want to do that because it pays them millions of dollars.
Yeah. So I think I'm past the point where it's like I have that passion for basketball to where it's like all his life.
Like I love it because I like still watch the game, still stay. But like, do I need to go out there and play?
Yeah.
Other than just me like going to the gym or something like that?
I know that is not sustainable.
No,
for a fact. It'd be fun though.
No, yeah, it would be fun. Like if I go to the NBA, like I said, if it wasn't performance based, I don't have to go out there go for 20.
Facts. I could just be out there.
But like 82 games is like a lot.
Yeah.
Plus playoffs, like I already know I'd be toe up.
Yeah, and then you're never home. Yeah, that's a lot.
No, yeah, like I said, you're never home too. That's another thing. Yeah. So even though you got all that money, like that's probably why a lot of just act crazy because you're never at a place of normalcy.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. Same thing. That's why I think even harkening back to the earlier part of the podcast, we were talking about the relationships thing. A lot of people don't see that too. They want the money, the power, success, but a lot of people, they're not living a life that a lot of people around them can sustain because I'm traveling, I'm moving, I'm booked, I'm busy. But yeah, I'd probably say something like content or like being with the youth, like seasonally, something like that. If I can work seasonally,
that's something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then like I'm chilling the rest of the year type. You know what I mean? We all get paid the same. I mean, I'd probably do something like that.
Yeah, I work 3 months out of the year to be good.
No, yeah, seriously.
Sure.
No, seriously. And cause I'm chilling, having fun with the kids. When I do see them, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd do that. I'd do that right now. If, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it paid the bills, I wouldn't care. So yeah, probably something like that. But as the pod comes to a close, man, I was able to just see the Kingdom of the Planet Apes. I think that was a pretty good fourth movie, which I think does have opportunity to lead into whatever the next movies are. The Planet Apes, the most newly revamped trilogy is one of my favorite. So this fourth one here, I think it fits somewhere in there because it I think it does a great job of trying to unite the prior movies to the most current ones. But the newest trilogy, I think, is probably one of my favorite trilogies. Next to the first trilogy of the Transformers.
Yeah.
Then of course you have like undefeated ones like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, the Dark Knight trilogy. So some good stuff though. But I mean, I gotta get some initial thumbs up for that movie. Not as deep in as many layers I think as in the first two, but still pretty good. There's a couple shows I think I'm supposed to be adding to my list. I did just watch The Flight Attendant. I finished that show, season 2. It's pretty good. I started the show Resident Alien.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good show so far. But other than that, bro, I haven't really been doing much. I've been I've been keeping up with the WWE. I will say that. I've been like keeping back tuned in now what's going on. And I think it's dope that they've introduced a lot of new stars and they're finally starting to turn the corner with allowing a lot of these young guys an opportunity. So that's been interesting to me. I know as they had to close the year out, they did announce an upcoming match. I think it's going to be at the King of the Ring. It's like Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. I think everybody's confused about what's the stakes on the line. I think they're talking about championship for championship. I think it'll be a good match. Because I think Logan Paul is actually really good as a wrestler. He's super talented. He makes crazy athletic plays, and every match he has is something that goes viral. I also have the question, y'all, is Cody Rhodes' story over with? What are we doing? I think the highlight of his chase was the chase.
Yeah.
I think him getting to the point where he's taking the title away from Roman and how that match came to fruition and how it came to its conclusion, I think that was such a climax that I think he's still on the descent. Now, WWE needs Roman.
Yeah, I think I think he can, even if he gets it back, I'm cool with it. I just think he needed to lose it.
Nah,
because it was getting ridiculous, bro.
Nah.
He was going on 4 years having time.
Nah. But I can't lie.
He was cooking.
The reign.
Yeah.
The reign was incredible. And I think I like what he did because at the end of the day, they would have been able to put family on. Like I knew now that Roman's gone, he's taking his hiatus. I think Solo has now become the new head of the bloodline, and they've introduced like I think their other cousins, which is part of Roman's bloodline,
and like Rikishi's nephew or something.
Yeah, like Rikishi's nephews, the NOIs, which is part of Roman's side, but they're rocking out with Solo right now, and so they've gotten a lot of new guys coming in from that side of the family. So I think that's good, and I do like where Solo's headed. I think the Bloodline is honestly one of the greatest factions. Y'all got to check me on this, but one of the greatest factions, at least in the modern era of WWE, probably one of the greatest ones because this is just so many layers you can run with this, and how long they've been at the forefront of the WWE. I mean, we're talking about, like you said, I mean, coinciding with Roman's title reign. But these guys have been in the WWE, but them coming together in unison, like with the Usos, with Roman, so of course Solo and the rest of the Fatu and NOIs, and The Rock, all these guys coming together, I think, as probably one of the greatest factions WWE has seen in the modern day. I can't think of another one that would be nearly as exciting or dominant. The Judgment Day is doing a good thing as well, with Rhea and all of them. Those would be my top takeaways. I do like how they just had the draft and they just added Carmelo Hayes, and some of these guys now are getting a little bit of light. I think Ilya Dragunov is going to be somebody who's going to turn a lot of heads because he's obviously comes with a lot of intensity and can probably fill a role with Imperial and Gunther that they're missing right now. So I think that would be a good little beef for whatever might happen possibly down the line there. But WWE's in a good point. They're interesting. They're intriguing. Right now, I've been watching the King of the Ring, and they've got a lot of superstars that kind of can put together some highlights. I think it was Ricochet just lost, I think, to Dragunov, but Ricochet obviously is a super talented performer. On the women's end, I think they're introducing a lot of women that have a lot of talent right now.
The women are killing it.
They are,
bro. Like we went to the show not too long ago. We went to the Night Raw show. The women had probably the best match for me.
No, yeah, seriously. You know what's crazy is the shorty, big shorty, Nia Jax. Yeah, she's related to Roman and them too. I think that's close to the Rock side, like the Rock's. I think she's his niece. Yeah, something like that. Niece or cousin? I don't know. I know they're all cousins, but I forget who she's closest to. But anyways, that was crazy. Her and Becky Lynch. That was a crazy match. Becky Lynch now is the WWE champion, the women's champion, because Rhea relinquished the belt. Yeah, we need to get Becky off of that championship. Because Rhea was OD.
Yeah.
Rhea was OD. She was busting tail. And she was just super dominant, too. So I hate that her run had to come to an end. But, man, WWE's been doing their thing. So I got to give them a shout-out every episode because they're coming out with good information. And I think that's the most weird thing. The craziest thing, too, that's taken over social media, but it's hilarious to watch, is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. The trolling that they have been doing to each other. Drew McIntyre is actually hilarious, man. Like this dude on social media, like there was like a tweet where he was tweeting like a board at work in the middle of a match. Like he's actually hilarious, bro. And I love this dude. Like him and his CM Punk's, the way they've been going back and forth. And I think Drew McIntyre, he was like, I prayed for CM Punk's injury and the pure hatred, and I think all things that have been able to develop off of this have been hilarious to watch. So that I think could be a really good point for the WWE to continue, as both of them, I think, get closer to coming off of injury. But yeah, the WWE's been doing their thing. Other than that, like I said, we talked about some of the movies and things that I'm excited to see. You got anything else to add?
Blood of Zeus just dropped.
Okay.
Anime, 2nd season. I've been watching Ninja Kamui, Demon Slayer, Hell's Paradise, good animes. Shout out my boy Put Me On, my boy Darius. I ain't watched too many movies as of late. I watched like the old Hercules movie the other day, Disney one, pretty good.
Yeah, I did. I have watched some throwbacks recently.
Yeah,
I rewatched World War Z the other day.
That was a really good movie.
It's a good movie. Good movie. Goated zombie movie.
Yeah. I don't think I got no recommendations for real. Movie wise, I really haven't been on a good movie tip as of late.
Yeah, I don't know if I've been doing a lot of rewatching them. I don't think I've watched anything new that stuck out to me.
I might be lying.
I could be lying too, but it's not. At least not. It's not the front of my head right now.
I want to say I watched the movie like the other day that was pretty good. I can't think of who was in it.
Oh, there was actually. I finally watched. What's the guy? The guy. Oh my gosh. What is that movie? I just watched it though. It was on Netflix. But anyways, I feel like it was a movie that like was a part of pop culture that I just saw. See how this login works. Oh yeah, I did watch that movie Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney. That was kind of trash. It wasn't trash. It's a rom-com, but it was one of those movies that, you know, I'm a hater when it comes to these movies. I didn't think that was a movie that needed all that. I watched the movie X with old girl.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good movie. Yeah,
I recommended that to mad people. That was a good movie.
Dang, it's not showing me the movies I just watched, but it's just showing. Blood of Zeus. Then Like a Man 2. But yeah, I would say that at the top of my head, those would be some of the things I think I've just watched. Somebody was talking about that. Oh yeah, Leave the World Behind. I watched that one.
That was a good movie.
That was pretty good. I didn't like the ending, but you know, some of those movies, that's how it's gonna go. I love thrillers, so.
Oh, I watched Keeping Up with the Joneses. That was a pretty decent movie.
Keeping Up with the Joneses. Where was that on?
I want to say it's on Tubi.
I think
it's on Tubi, or it might be on Netflix. It was on a couple of streaming platforms, but it's a Zach Galifianakis movie. It's got what's that big? I can't think of his name. It's big brolic dude, some other actress, and who plays Zach Galifianakis' wife?
I watched Ricky Stenicki. That was pretty actually.
Ricky Stenicki was funny as ish.
Nah, it was actually it was pretty good.
John Cena is hilarious.
Nah,
bro.
yeah, seriously. I like where he's kind of gone with it. Yeah, that's one of the things I've really seen on my list. I'm gonna rewatch He-Man because they redid that. Oh yeah, I started rewatching the X-Men '97 because they redid that.
Oh yeah.
I finished off the most recent season of Invincible, so I'm excited for the next season of The Boys to drop.
Oh yeah, I finished Invincible too. Boys supposed to drop what later this year, right?
Yeah, I think July.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Yeah, top of my head. What I got.
Yeah, my recommendation for this week is Keeping Up with the Joneses. It's almost like if you watch Night and Day with Cameron Diaz and who's that? Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. It's really similar to that movie. A little bit Red Notice vibes. It's pretty good. My old school recommendation throwback is gonna be Perfect Storm. Mm-hmm. If you know, you know. That's Mark Wahlberg. I want to say George Clooney, a couple others. Mm-hmm. It's a great movie. Amazing movie. It's like 20-something years old. Great movie. Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, so without further ado, man, it's your boy Benji.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the pod. Another one coming soon. Peace.